Okay, here we go. I am once again irritated because I don't know why my chat thing is not working. I see the chat on my YouTube side of things, but I don't see it on my social stream ninja side of things, and it will not let me. It will not let me for the life of me, whatever I try. Over here in this guy, it will not let me pick a source, even though I have this going on. I used the WebSocket this time, and I'm literally connected to this video, and it just will not. It will not populate the chat into my little dock over on my left-hand screen on my OBS. That is super upsetting. Just keeps telling me no upcoming streams found. I don't know what's going on there. Sad. Guess we're not highlighting chat today either, unless I can figure that out as I go, which I don't think I will be able to because literally just no chats come into the fucking thing. I don't know what's going on. It's like I need to pick a source here and then go like that. I'll test it one more time, but I don't think so. Oh, I can't even send test messages from OBS right now. That's weird. Oh, well, that's not what we came here for. It's not really that big of a deal. Not the end of the world. Let me just make sure we're good on my phone here. Yeah, that's awesome. Great. Okay, I'll send one more test from over here just to see what goes on. But yeah, I don't think it's going to work. So sad. We're not going to be able to highlight chats, but it is what it is. Appreciate that, Deleuze. Yeah, it doesn't work. Oh, well. I got to fix that. Maybe I should stop waiting till the last minute to try to fix that every single time, but whatever. It's fine. Not what you came here for. So I appreciate you being here. Okay, I'm just gonna, here's what I want to do. I want to do two main things in today's stream. As you can tell by the title, I've had some interesting experiences just in the last 7 days or so. That I need to keep relatively like anonymized because I don't know, like probably don't want to like dox clients necessarily. I haven't really figured out the best way to handle that all yet, but with just all the stuff that I do, in certain cases it's easier than others. So I'm not gonna like be very specific here. You're just going to need to trust me that this is real. And, you know, if you doubt that, then, okay, you probably should see somebody about your high level of paranoia and skepticism, because there's no way I would possibly be able to make up the amount of information that I'm going to tell you here. So it is anecdotal. I will obviously say that in the sense that it's only one sampling of data. But, you know, I would be really surprised if it's not prevalent in more places and more businesses, more agencies, things like that. You know, and like I said, I'm going to try to keep it as anonymized as possible. And I'll just tell you straight up, this is how I plan on pretty much living the rest of my life, is getting paid to learn, advise, implement solutions for people. And then if it's a generalized thing, or maybe it's like a public facing, you know, business or whatever, then I'm probably just going to try to document as much as possible as I can, like how I'm helping, and document like success stories and all that. If it's not like overly public, like if it's not a public problem or a public facing website or whatever, kind of like I did with like the insurance company website that I built, like if it's not that, that would be the first example. If it's not that, then I will be trying to extract just the lessons so I can harden them for myself, but also share them with you. That's what I do. So I've already learned a ton of lessons in the very small amount of time that I have been in this advisory engagement that I'm in. And I would just like to share that because I haven't made enough YouTube content here recently because my son is 18 days old. So my wife and I have been in the trenches there. But I have been doing a lot of work still, and I just haven't had the extra time to kind of do some of the videos, but I do have a lot of stuff that I'd like to talk about there. So these live streams are fun and low lift for me. So I'm going to try to drop some value here. Yeah, so that's that. That's long and short of it. Now, Where do we begin? Oh, I did say I want to do two things. This is the one thing. The other thing is that last live stream I did the video editing workflow. I made more updates to that. It's actually incredible how fast you can move. Because I literally didn't touch that for like 5 days, and then like just yesterday a little bit, and today now it's like almost perfect. I didn't film a lot of it, but I could um, look at it and kind of show you kind of the just like kind of where we're at. I want to say it might be half decent to just do that now because I don't really want to go super deep into that. Let me just tease that real quick. I'm teasing you with this whole topic here, but I'm probably just going to talk about that the whole time. So let me just do this real quick, and then we'll pop back over to that. So this is Jake here in the thumbnail. So as you can see, like, can I move my face to the left? There we go. Um, this is I didn't build this thumbnail. Like, I didn't make this thumbnail. I didn't touch anything. I didn't go into Canva. I didn't do shit. This is built in HTML, and then it's a picture. Like, it builds it in HTML because it's a very templated type thing with a bunch of like variables and variations of stuff, and then it just takes a picture of it. Like, it's easy. I could say right now in 2 seconds, like, make me 4 of these with like different titles and stuff like that. I'll actually fucking do that right now. Actually, hey, I'm on a live stream right now. Can we just do a little quick test for me? I want to just show like kind of how cool of a thing this is. Uh, Our YouTube thumbnail is pretty much perfect, like the template and the methodology we have here. So can you do me a favor? Can you go look through like the data um of this episode? And right now it says build something bigger. Can you give me like just do your best to come up with like two or three more let's do three more alternatives for those wordings. And can you keep it to no more than like probably no more than 4 words, depending on how it like lays out and everything. Just give me like three different other options, and can you make me like three other templates, or not templates, but three other like outputs of the thumbnail that I could just see and maybe play around with. Presumably what that's going to do is make this was like just a preview, like getting it together, but presumably it's just going to make three more of these with different. I'm not even going to give it the context for that. It already has all of the, again, watch the video from last week. I just want to go over this real quick and then I'll get into the main topic. But this is a full workflow where I'm trying to go end to end with like film stuff on Riverside and then just give it all the files that it needs, and then it just makes it like does the edits. It adds my intro that I film in the beginning. It creates a hook in the beginning, like with like different sound bites and stuff like that. It puts an ad read in for me. Right now, it's a personal ad read, just saying like, "Hey, watch my YouTube. Subscribe at Modern Builder Society." All that. Um, so it does all that, and it goes to. And it also clicks out to Auphonic to do, like in this case, like Jake's audio was a little low just because of the way that Riverside records it. So fix that. Yeah. So that's and then it creates the thumbnails. That's the one from Josh, as I had it as a reference. This is, again, this is built like an HTML, and then a picture is taken of it. So I give it obviously a lot of, some of the stuff, right? The images and things like that. But the idea here is this has taken me, I don't know, what did I take last time? Maybe like 2 hours. I'll say high end 5 hours to build this. And then the idea would be that I don't have to do any of this work ever again. I just stick it all in there. And then actually, that's the last thing. It actually also, it doesn't just output MP4s, JPEGs, and text. It also outputs, there's a lot of outputs that I need to clean up right now, but right here, you see this? This is like an what is it? FCP XML, and then like an EDL. Those are like DaVinci Resolve like file types, where I haven't tested this one yet, but I have tested the EDL on a different workflow. You bring that into DaVinci, and then you literally have a timeline. It's not like it's not like just a video file that's all like one thing. It's like literally like a multi-layered timeline with cuts and shit that it made. So then you can actually go in and do it. That's like similar to like how you would think of, oh, I want to do. It's like all the people like saying they want to build AI websites, but they don't. They're scared to just be prompting it. They want like a UI. Same type of thing. It's like, I get it. You don't want to just edit. You don't want it to just edit and output like the finished product. You want something that's 90% of the way there in the format in which you would be able to also edit. I get that. That's what that essentially is similar to. What does this do? just gonna open this over here. I never understand how to open this shit. Can I control open this? No. You would think that this would just open this right here, but whatever. So that was the podcast one. There's that. There's that. There's that. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't love all of them. There's a little bit of line spacing weirdness, but yeah. It's not incredible, but it's, 5 hours of work to never have to do work again. So yeah, I'm liking it. Just the concept though, I mean, again, is pretty dope. So, and again, I didn't even give it that feedback. I mean, I could give it more. Obviously, that was a terrible fucking prompt. So I'm just giving you kind of the concept there. But yeah, so that's that. That's pretty much end to end. Almost. I have MP4s and stuff like that that are already being done in here. Just real quick, what was the last thing that this asked me to do? That was the podcast one over here. I was having a sync issue. Let me just see if I can just clean Anthropic, in sync, levels matched. Let's see, maybe we should look at that real quick. We're thinking import, doesn't import, still waiting on the music bed. I need to give it music for the hook thing, and then yeah, all right, I'll do that. I'll do that after, because I don't want to make it do a lot of work right now while we're doing this. So, but that's pretty much it. If we have any questions on that, we could go over that. But I think we're good there. Oh, I didn't realize that I had an error over on my chat for some reason, and it didn't show me the rest of the stuff. Missed you, man. Appreciate you being here. Sorry, guys, I can't fucking highlight these comments. I got to talk to the guy at Social Stream Ninja. Appreciate you guys being here, though. Has the new baby arrived? New baby has arrived. Yep. May 10th is his birthday. He's a fun little guy. Appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much. Thank you. Google new AI's mode in search bar, and how does that affect websites and SEO? Good question. We can chat about that real quick. Best way to look at that, I guess, might be to go. This is Auphonic, by the way. This is via API. I mean, you can do it manually, but via API, I'm bringing the stuff in there. I don't even know what this does, right? I mean, I've seen the AI mode before and shit, but memory phone to hybrid mattresses, sure, whatever. Okay, I was wondering if there's like a new AI mode that I didn't know about. I've seen this one for a while. I mean, high level thoughts on this. I think that it's a lot. Okay. You want me to go on an SEO tangent for a second? I'll go on an SEO tangent and piss a lot of people off. I think that SEO has always been kind of like it's been plagued by a bunch of snake oil salesmen in a way, because everybody was like, for a lot of years, once they figured out how to game the YouTube or the Google algorithm, they would just like keyword stuff, and they do a bunch of shit like that. I'm not saying everyone, okay, but I think there was a lot of that. It's in other industries too, but I think that's just the one that was like just blind. Like, I know people that pay like thousands of dollars a month for SEO, and like I have no idea what the fuck they're getting out of it. Here's how bad this is. Okay, let me go here for a second, and then if we need to go back to the AI mode, or if you guys have specific questions, we can talk about that. But let me give you my thing, because this is all really related, and I think that there's a lot of, no, I don't want to call it misinformation. I just think it's like miscalculation and misperspective on some of these things. I know shit, okay? Painting company owner had told me in the last few months, they literally said to me, we need SEO in our business because we need SEO. Like, that's what they said, okay? And I'm not criticizing them. I'm just saying, like, this, I'm reporting back to you, right? We need SEO in our business. Why? I say, why? They say, because we're a business and we're online and we need SEO. And I'm like, okay, that is the worst answer that I've ever heard anything. Like, I wish, okay? I'm a little mad at myself from when I hear that, right? I wish that I was a good enough salesperson to convince somebody that they just need the thing just because they need it. Like, that's like the holy grail, I guess, of like sales and marketing or whatever. It's like, oh, why do you need that? Oh, I just need it. Like, you don't even fucking know why you need it. Now, you do know in a sense, because but this is just, I'm trying to give you like the extremely condensed version of my perspective on SEO, and we'll get to the AI stuff in a second. Like, these people these business owners have been so co-opted and psyoped into thinking that they need whatever the fuck SEO is. I'm not saying it's not a real thing. I'm just saying like they don't know what it is, right? Imagine that. Imagine you were that like co-opted into believing that you just need this thing because. Furthermore, in this specific case, I ask, and we go further on this. I'm like, okay. I'll level with you. You need it because everyone needs it, right? You need like your technical website needs to be able to be scraped by Google, right? I mean, like at minimum, right? Like and LLMs now and all that sort of stuff, whatever. For sure, I'm down with that. Okay, the simplest way to do that, I guess, in WordPress land and times was like Yoast or Rank Math or whatever. Okay, gotcha. We're on the same page there. I'm not saying we shouldn't have that. Okay, but then you're going to pay thousands of dollars a month for SEO. I have never understood, and maybe I'm the asshole here. I absolutely could be. It's totally possible. I have never understood what people pay that money for 95% of the time. Like I even had this service kind of like for my own shit at one point, and it's like I'm not saying it's not valuable at all, but like the idea of just looking at your numbers and trying to create more traffic is it's like a weird ass. I don't know how it happened. This is why it's so hard for me to talk. And you're probably thinking like, Mark, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like I don't know how it happened. It's literally some sort of like crazy buzzword that everyone just decided that, oh, I need SEO, and you just have it. You just pay for it. It's just like it's fucking magic. It's not I don't think it's magic. There's technical parts of it that do need done for sure. But if you don't add more content, like actual good content too, because that's another asterisk, constantly to your brand, to your digital presence, to your website, you don't have fucking SEO. Like this SEO bullshit, I've seen it so many times, and it started when I was very green. I was in right out of college. I was in the real estate industry. I wasn't an agent. I was in the marketing department. These people get marketed, and it's not just them, but they all get marketed on these fucking solutions that are SaaS solutions that, okay, they work fine, like your CRM or whatever. But like literally, if you look at like agent A, B, and C, like all like on the same street at different brokerages, the fucking blog part of their website is the exact same boilerplate trash content. Now that was pre-AI, like big AI stuff. So maybe now like there's probably a lot of people that are making it a little bit better. It's not like it's not slop. It wasn't slop before. It was literally just like let's make a let's it's literally I think it's like this. The business was the SaaS company was like, let's sit down and let's write 5 articles. How to paint your house this spring. What shutters should you put on the front house to increase curb appeal? What landscaping companies are the best in what? It's not even localized either. It was just like boilerplate bullshit content that nobody would want to watch or listen to. But because the end client, the real estate agent in that sense, had this co-opted idea. They've been co-opted to think that they need that stuff, and they just need bullshit content on their website just because they would buy that fucking shit. And it was the worst. It didn't make any sense to me at the time. I was like, why are we even like endorsing this? And again, this is a long time ago, but like, why are we even endorsing that? So again, fast forward to now, I still see it with like service-based companies, and they don't even know what they're paying for. Like, maybe I need to get a little bit more into the minds of the consumer because maybe they care about some of that content a little bit, but I'm not saying don't put content on your website. I'm not saying don't invest time, energy, money, whatever into putting more on. I mean, if you ever looked at my site, like when somebody asks me like about SEO, I never have a good answer for them because I just look at what I've done and I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I did it and I never called it that. There's some there's technical, let's leave out the technical stuff, like the schema shit and like the title tags and all that sort of stuff. Let's leave that to the side because like that is like an actual trainable skill, but that does not take that to me. That's never, I don't, and maybe I'm wrong. I'm not an SEO specialist. Okay. I've never tried to sell these $5,000 fucking packages for this stuff. I haven't done that. So like, I don't know how you could charge that amount of money to fuck with title tags and stuff. I don't know. And maybe I'm oversimplifying. Very possible. If I'm wrong, tell me in the chat. I'm happy to discuss. But after I'm off finish my perspective on this, we'll go there. But just real quick, again, I'm using myself as an example because it's the best example that I have because I know myself the most, and all I want to do is put out more content about myself. Everyone's looking for a fucking shortcut is kind of the way that I think, or they get sold a shortcut with that SEO stuff. And I promise I will get to the point of the question where it's like the AI mode part of this, because it all layers in together. Like everything on my website is not, it's actually not written by me. I'm going to be honest with you. AI wrote a lot of it. However, I gave it so much context that it feels and looks and it knows how I talk and write. So like I just like you got like I undersell the amount of energy and time and words that I have physically spoken into YouTube, into meetings, into like Claude and Chat and maybe ChatGPT or whatever, Gemini. Like it it's all in there. And people want SEO without doing any of that fucking work. And I don't know how to, I literally, when somebody asks me, I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know how you could possibly create a good brand that people care about, that Google will care about, that LLMs will care about without actually doing the fucking work. I'm not even saying you have to do the technical work. I'm saying that you have to give it enough context for it to do the work for you. That's actually all it is. And people don't even want to do that because maybe they're confused or whatever. I'm trying to educate on that. But that's literally what I did. I wrote like hours of cumulatively, not like in like a straight shot or whatever, like cumulatively the amount of words that I dictated into my voice memos or into Claude Code or into Claude to get this type of output. And I'm not even saying this is the best in the world. I'm just saying that like look at these types of things, right? This is actual content, regardless of how it's written or if you think it's the best. It's not fucking stuff with keywords, whatever. I'm not saying it's going to rank for everything. I'm saying this is actual shit. Like I literally sat down and I did like a voice memo with a bunch of other like context from like the project and everything. And for 30 minutes, I talked and said exactly what I did. And then I said, here, just take all this context and put it into a thing. And then I will review it and we'll put it on the website. And it makes a beautiful case study, success story of everything that we did. And this is actually something somebody might want to read. They don't want to read the bullshit that's on every other real estate person's website or the bullshit that's on every other painting fucking website. They don't give a fuck about that. Honestly, I've always thought that if you're going to go that route, don't even put any fucking content in your website. Like seriously, don't even do it because it's just a waste of money, a waste of time, makes you look like an asshole. Seriously, because it's not you. It's not authentic. And anybody that can't sniff that out is probably like, maybe you want them as your customer, maybe they find you, but you're just going to like live a lie for the rest of your life because you're going to constantly think, oh, I got all this good information on my website. It's like, bro, that's not helpful at all. They could get that, especially now with AI, they could get that anywhere else. So I know this has been a long rant, okay, but I'm very passionate about this. I appreciate the question because I don't know how to answer it. Like it's literally something that in my head, it's like it just doesn't compute how people still think that that's the case. And I'm not picking on anyone and blaming anyone other than maybe the people that tried to sell the lie of the fact that it's magic. I don't even know how they sell it. The last kicker, okay, from the avatar that I was talking about, the painting company. And again, no disrespect to them either if they end up watching this. Like that's not I'm just it's my perspective on what's going on here. Like they told me they couldn't even fucking measure it. I'm like, what? Like you can't like, and this is sophisticated business time. Like they couldn't even measure it. They just like, this is what I'm talking about. This is why I feel like I feel so strong about it. I literally feel like these people have been lied to so much and abused that they are so confused now on what it actually is. It's not magic. You should be able to somehow at least attribute. It is weird. Like organic stuff is weird. I'm not gonna lie, but like you just need it to need it. And it's not even like good. Like, what are we even talking about? Like, I understand not every company wants to be founder led and have all this fucking content on here that like is directly basically from their mouth, and like tweaked with AI. I guess I get that, but I don't know how to sell any other way. Like I literally don't. It's like there's this, which is like heavily organic and heavily like to the point and whatever, personality driven, all that. I love it. It's the only way I really know how to do it. Or pay for leads with ads. This middle ground of this weird, like fake SEO shit is so strange. And just to wrap it up, and then we'll go to chat, is that we talked about this thing, right? This AI mode shit, right? Like, I don't mind this because I feel like I haven't Googled anything in months, maybe a year at this point or more. And if I do Google it, it just ends up basically giving, I look at the AI overview, because anytime I'm like asking a question now, it's like, I don't even ask simple questions anymore. I ask very specific shit, and AI is the only thing that can help me with that, because it's not like, who's the president of the United States in 1812 or something like that. Like, it's not that. It's like I have a very specific use case, and I know that you have like contextual awareness around all the other people that have had this thing, but here's my specific little situation that's a little bit more. Maybe we could talk about this back and forth. Just give me some ideas, right? Like, that's what it is. So I don't even think like that anymore. I'm like so far past that. But the last thing, okay, just to kind of illustrate this, is like if we go to this AI mode and we just say like Mark Szymanski. This is a bad example because like if you just like type that in, then you're probably gonna get like Mark Szymanski or whatever. But like this is the type of shit that I mean is like, there's two prongs to it. One, you got to make sure that you at least show up like this, right? If you just type in, this is I make some random thoughts here, but if you type in the name of yourself or your name of your business or whatever, and you don't see like sources coming from things that you have, right? Your websites or YouTube or whatever else. I don't know. Obviously there's other people named Mark Szymanski, but like, this is good that I come up first. Like, if you don't see that, you have what I would call a, like, I'm making this shit up. Okay, the terms here. Okay, so go find the right terms if you want, or I'll eventually find. Like, you have like a technical schema, like, problem. Like the internet, we'll just call it the internet. Okay, the internet, LLMs, Google, right? All these things that are indexing your shit, they don't know what you do, who you are at all, right? As you can tell, this is a good sign. It knows that I'm in Pittsburgh. It knows that I have an agency, Motive 11. It knows that I have Szymanski Media as well. It knows kind of what I do. Again, it changes, and my shit probably isn't like perfect everywhere, but like, it knows, right? I mean, it knows. Do I even see the word WordPress on here anymore? That's a WordCamp, right? But that's like a good sign that like it kind of knows that I've kind of made the transition where like WordPress is still part of what I do, but it's not like the main thing that it's like, it's just, I'm moving in more of an AI assisted direction, right? So that's all good stuff to me, right? That's what you want when you Google yourself. Now, the second thing, and I can't go super deep on this because I still don't understand this, because I don't think this is how the world actually really fucking works anymore, is if you were to type in for me, like, who's the best person to learn AI from? Like, it's not going to show me. There's way too much fucking competition for that. I don't think that's the best way to get discovered. You should try to optimize, I guess, for it more so as you go forward. Maybe we could do another example of like, who's the best roofer in my area? Who's the best landscaper? I really don't want to do that because like, I don't really want to get into like super localized shit right here. But the point is, like, that's like another example, and we could talk more about that. But again, the whole thing is, and I want to go big face for this, I don't know how to explain this any simpler than it is. I don't believe, personal belief, okay, tell me if I'm wrong, it's not magic. It is literally, most of the time, volume or reputation. So if I had to blanket statement this for you or your clients, more Google reviews. Okay, that's number one, because Google is basically like the shit, right? When it comes to all of it, like, it's, we're talking about AI mode here, but even ChatGPT or whatever, like, they all pull from fucking Google reviews or some shit. Like, they pull from these places that are highly reputable, right? So go to reputable places and get reviews, or have your clients go there, right? So Google reviews, maybe Clutch if you're like in an industry that serves. Everybody's gonna fucking tell you to do all this other stuff, and this is where SEO might actually be helpful, where you're getting like these backlinks and you're getting some of the stuff. It's way overblown though, I feel like, in certain ways. Like, backlinks, yes, are important because you're building like a web of like reputation, but don't start paying for random stupid fucking website backlink. Like, that's not helpful. Like, and this is the thing, and I gotta stop here. This is too long. I don't know how, here's the thing. I don't know how, maybe it's just because I'm stupid. I don't know how to circumvent the last 3 years of my life as an example. Like, that's what I mean, is like, the last 3 years of my life, I have put out a shit ton of YouTube videos, a shit ton of like social posts. I made sure all of my stuff is consistent. That's important, but that doesn't take 3 years. That takes a little bit of time. Like, social posts or social tags or usernames and everything like that are consistent. My face is like in different places. My website obviously has good schema. Like, there's value to be had there. And if you're going to do this for clients, do that stuff. But at the end of the day, when you have all that shit set up, The only fucking thing that I understand how to do is if you're not going to pay for leads, like with ads or stuff, because you can pay to play. If you're not going to do that, the only way to do it is a slog fest of actual, authentic, quality, thoughtful content. And the only way I know how to do that is organic, sharing my thoughts about my business or whatever. And I come from this always as like a personal angle, but it's genuinely because I don't know how to sell this to a fucking landscaping client or whatever. Like, I'd much rather just try to tell them, like, hey, listen, you have a good product, you're a small team, and you don't have the fucking time to throw a camera in front of your face. Although I don't know if you noticed this, there's people in those industries that all they do is they put a camera in front of their face and then they edit it or whatever. They have fun, like they have some fun on like Instagram. This one random guy comes to mind on the landscaping thing. His name is Brett Yergrin over in Jersey, and he's a crazy dude. He's like very eccentric, but I'm sure he's gotten a lot of business or clout or whatever doing that stuff. The trouble is, like, these local service businesses, it's like they don't have, like, people outside of your immediate area are going to see that. So it's like it's still not even that great of a way to generate business in a sense. Like, it's good to generate money and options and other things, but it's not good to generate like business down the fucking street. So again, at the end of the day, I still think that, like, genuinely for service-based businesses, the stuff that I've seen, I'd much rather try to dial in like ads. And I know, like, nobody wants to fucking pay for clients and leads. But I don't know a better way, because that they're incentivized. Those platforms are incentivized to get you leads. And if you pay for them, then it's like, we just need to work out the numbers to make sure the ROI makes sense. I'm not saying don't build your brand. I am saying build your brand. It's just so much more of a long-term play. And I've always hated SEO because they always say it's a recurring thing or whatever, but like, it's a long-term play that you actually have to play properly. If you just put out trash content constantly, keyword stuffing bullshit, then you're going to tarnish your brand more than you're going to help it. I'm done with that. Any comments on that? I know that was a long one. 4.8 today and maybe Codex 5.6, big day. Could be a big day for sure. SEO tangent. Rob knows what's up. What's up, Rob? Stop stuffing in 03. Foundation of SEO is site architecture. So technically, they do need SEO. Yeah, for sure. I would call that just like the technical stuff, though. Those are called replicator pages. Interesting. That was a scam. People are confused about the amount of work for sure. SEO is a scam. I tend to go that way. I mean, again, there's nuance to everything. Okay, guys. I hope you understand that that's the lane that I live in my entire life. But that's just, yeah. I mean, it's a weird spot. I'm seriously, honestly, every single time I have this conversation with a client, they say they want SEO, I shudder a little bit because I'm like, I don't really want to sell you trash. I'll set everything up for you schema wise, and we can talk about, how to do it. But at the end of the day, I actually don't know. And this is probably a me issue. Okay. There's probably people doing it better than me. I'm 100% positive, but there's a lot of people like doing some bullshit. I don't know. I've not figured it out yet. And honestly, I don't really know if I want to figure it out because I don't actually fucking care that much. I'd rather just do other stuff that's more helpful, because I think everything else that I do now is actually higher leverage than like trying to force people to get better SEO, so to speak. But here's the thing, long and short of it, and again, I'll admit where my weaknesses are. For the last 3 or whatever years, I have constantly been doing everything that I just said, making the YouTube videos, trying to like literally just learn, try and share all the things that are in the domains that I'm trying to make money from. And it has absolutely worked. I mean, like, I'm not a millionaire by any means, but it's absolutely pushed me in the right direction. And I've gotten more opportunities constantly because of it. The thing that I'm about to talk about here, probably ad nauseum for the rest of this, about the agency stuff, like that wouldn't have happened if I didn't cold message people in the very beginning. And I don't mean like cold message clients. I actually mean cold message colleagues and connections, specifically like another agency owner. If I didn't do that back in 2023, never would have known this company, this agency, all this other stuff. If I didn't like try to constantly build rapport with literally everyone that I deem to be like, I don't want to say valuable, but like just like anybody that's doing good work and like trying to get better and trying to like, given, like provide value, extract value where possible, like that type of, yin and yang type thing. I don't know how to teach any of that shit though, because it's literally just like, I just feel like it's innate. It's just like, be a good person and try to do all that sort of stuff. If I didn't do any of that, I would not be where I'm at. And I think all of that, it sounds weird and fucking like, oh, what the fuck are you talking about, Mark? But it's like, that's all like, in a sense, like brand building. And in a sense, it's SEO. Like, I'm documenting all of it. Like, I'm building my reputation. I'm building it like on the website. I'm building it on YouTube. I'm building it whatever. And that's how I do it. I don't know a better path. I don't know a better path. I don't know an easier path. I don't know if there's one. I'm sure there is kind of, but like, and I don't mean it has to be personal, but it's got to be something, right? Like, even like something that's not personal, like a big brand, like a faceless Coca-Cola or something like that. It's like they built their brand. Like, I just hate the fucking idea of like talking about like SEO. It's like, build your brand and the SEO shit will follow. Again, technical stuff aside, there's some technical stuff that you should have done for you or do yourself. But the content stuff, I just think there's a lot of people getting fleeced. Okay. That's that. Okay. That was good. All right. Anything else here? Rob says SEO isn't a scam. First time to make a live in a while. Congrats on the new baby. Thank you, Derek. Appreciate you being here. Thank you. Thank you. Some SEO is a scam. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. 100%. Okay. All right. So here's what we're going to do. I'm pretty much going to continue that conversation. It's not really like that much different than that, but I'm just going to give you again, the anonymized version, like I said, from earlier. Okay. I got an opportunity, again, that stemmed from 3 years of nurturing multiple like meetings and stuff like that with, like an agency owner that is larger than me, way larger, multi-millions a year. Okay. I was told like in that, after interfacing kind of like with the partners of that, I was told that like they love my stuff. They think I'm smart. They think if there's a chance to work with me, we should definitely do that. I had a good conversation like initially where kind of like tried to understand exactly where some of the bottlenecks were and things like that. And ultimately this became what I would call like an enhanced advisory, like technical advisory thing. And I'm just going to I'm going to pull up my notes and I'm going to try to like give you some of the highlights from the lessons that I've learned literally in 1 week of this month to month advisory thing that I'm doing with this much larger agency. The first lesson that I learned is that just because any company, this is weird, I'll tell you that, because this is like more of a technical, this is obviously like they build websites. This is a technical industry. This isn't like I'm trying to consult more so for, and I'm doing that for like other companies that are non-technical, like other businesses and stuff like that. And that works, but it's a different beast. Okay. And this is where I'll start. You got to know who you're talking to. So, and you got to know that really fast. It's easy to understand it, at a high level, if you're talking to somebody that's technical or not technical, in the business sense, but then you got to go deeper. So examples. What I'm going to be talking about, this main example is an agency, multi-million-dollar, that builds websites. In a different example that we can make up from the past, it would be trying to be like the fractional CTO or COO of a landscaping company. Again, I like the landscaping model, okay, because I got landscaping clients, whatever. So those are two very different situations, okay? And I'm not saying you got to do both. I'm just telling you like pros and cons and whatever. The landscaping situation, from my experience, they're not going to know shit about anything that you or I potentially know, depending on who you are watching. They're not going to understand the SEO shit. They might have the preconceived notions. They're not going to understand how to do more automation stuff. They're not going to understand the best marketing tactics, especially if you're dealing with like a smaller landscaping operation, as an example, or service-based operation. They're not going to understand any of that stuff. They're just not. Which is fine because they're busy running their fucking business. Maybe they understand a little bit more than I'm generalizing, but most likely they're not. So that is a huge opportunity because you can come in there and you kind of look like, you look like God basically, because you know everything, or at least it looks like that way more than them. And that's helpful. Obviously it's tough because you got to make sure you're delivering results and all this other stuff. But like, ultimately that's like one way. This new thing, the reason I give you that example is because this new situation that I just had was weird, because I thought like, preconceived notions on my end. I thought when I would step into a technical engagement, like an advisory engagement with a technical business, I thought that I was going to be helping fix things that they kind of couldn't get to in a way, which is true. But ultimately, at least in this engagement, the main people that I was dealing with, like the owners, didn't come from a technical background. And this is another offshoot. I know this is going to be all over the place, so just fucking stick with me, okay? This is like another thing. It's like if the founders of a technical business are not technical, that's a big fucking problem. First of all, I think you should always have like somebody that's technical in that same level. I think that's an issue that I would flag, because somebody's got to be the fucking end all be all of the technical stuff in a technical industry. A landscaping company probably doesn't need a CTO. I mean, maybe you could argue depending on the scale, but like a website building company, marketing, whatever you want to call it, like that should probably have a CTO. We can talk about that separately, but in this case, it doesn't exist. So that's an issue. So I come into that situation and I'm like, that's interesting once I figure that out. Because from the outside looking in, looks incredible. Like it looks making more money than me, making more money than my situation. Like there's, but revenue doesn't necessarily equal, and revenue and scale doesn't necessarily equal like, specific technical knowledge and whatever, or what have you. Now again, in this specific case, like this engagement is, uh, the team in question is like, 30 so people strong. And it's like, it's not just like the people at the top doing all the work. So it is different. But again, I'm trying to share what I learned. Like I didn't really realize, because I didn't have this experience. I learned a technical skill. I undersell the amount of shit that I know, because I'm not a trained developer, even though I fucking know more than probably a lot of like average developers when you average it all out. Like, and I come into a situation like this, and I'm like, oh, okay, so we don't have like a CTO type necessarily, and we have a bunch of people, which is normal in a big company, doing a bunch of different things. And maybe there's some disconnects, and I realize how quickly, even with like a low-ish headcount of like 30 or so people, how quickly communication breaks down, how quickly everybody's lived experience and work experience is so different. And maybe I'm telling you guys stuff you don't know. Maybe you've worked in big companies. I haven't worked in that big of a company. I haven't managed nearly that many people. Quite frankly, I never fucking want to. And it's just, that's what I'm learning. So, that's the big lesson there. The first one is, again, revenue and scale doesn't necessarily mean that everything is figured out. It actually probably means that there's a lot of opportunity, and there's some things that are maybe like duct taped together or not working as optimally as possible. And that's a huge opportunity for me, because even though I don't have and I'm very candid with it, I've been candid in this engagement. It's like, I don't have the scale, but I'm looking at what's going on, and I'm looking at like the way in which like sites are built and the process and stuff. And I'm like, there's a lot of fucking opportunity for efficiency here. And I can help with that. Now, the next thing is kind of like on that same note, is that, again, more revenue, all that sort of stuff, but more people kind of is like more chaos. It's not necessarily more clarity. I mean, I guess it could be at a certain point if you had a bunch of people, but here's the thing. I'm going to go rogue here for a second. Going to piss a lot of people off. Haven't fully formulated, but we're going to try it right now. More people equals more chaos, not more clarity. Asterisk. How do you make that not true? How do you reverse that? How do you get like more people to have more clarity? Well, you would think more process, better defined process, better documented process, better project management. Just so we're clear, this company has all that. And the process is pretty good. That said, again, if we talk about like the idea of building a website, like the development side of things is kind of like the really rough part that I can kind of get into in some ways here. But like all of that said, how do you make this idea of more manpower ultimately result in more clarity somehow or more efficiency. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I really think it's giving people more freedom in the sense of more giving them more opportunity to do things that they might want to do, or giving them more freedom to like make decisions, which sounds counterintuitive, but here's the thing. I really am leaning into, until I'm proven otherwise, this idea of letting the clankers do more work. There's a lot of stuff that I've seen in the little bit of time that I've been in this like larger agency and like understanding like what's going on. There's so much that I've seen that I'm like, why is this being done manually by a human? I'm not trying to be anti-human. I'm actually in one the way I interpret it, probably nobody else does, is that I'm actually trying to be pro-human, where like the last thing that I want to do is shit that I hate and that I find incredibly repetitive. Maybe other people like NPC types want to do that work. If that's the case, I don't know how to navigate that yet, but um, that's that's literally how I think about it, and I think most people don't wanna do that. Even if you are kind of like just like a do your thing and get the fuck out of there, like, I still don't think like that's incredibly I still think you'd rather be doing something different. So, we're gonna get probably this has gone way further than just like technical stuff. This is thought just this like 1 week of this has made me think more about like just society in general and where this is going. But my whole point is like a robot is going to take instruction better than a human, largely. Not saying to replace humans entirely with robots. I'm saying if there's things that the robot can do that we can just tell it to do, we should just have it do it. It's no different than all the other instances and all the other iterations of things where like humans were doing stuff and they were doing it like at 75% efficiency, and then we create a fucking calculator and it never gets a math problem wrong. You know what I mean? Like it's like that's it's the same thing, okay? It's the same thing, it's just how it goes, we're in the middle of it, we're all scared, we're all, like, confused. You just gotta be strong and really not care about it and just power through it. Like, that's my mentality, you do whatever you want. So, I know that was a weird way to say all that, but, like, more people currently is more chaos, not more clarity. The way I would change that is, like, we still have people, maybe some people go by the wayside depending on their ambition, their talent, their reluctancy, potentially. Maybe they have a lot of reluctance. You might have to lose some people, but ultimately, it's just those people can just ascend a little bit, and you can push them, and you can have give them more freedom to like kind of manage potentially automated processes. It's an idea. I don't know if it's going to work out. Okay, so that's kind of one thing I'm thinking about there. Where do I want to go next? Looking at my notes over here that I threw a bunch of stuff into Claude, and then it gave me some stuff. Technical delivery companies, operator. Okay, so really, the meat and potatoes of the thing that I've learned deeper. Well, there's the people thing, right? So, like, the first thing about the people is like when you have people and you have this weird dynamic. And again, I don't have any experience here, so it's like you have this dynamic of like just people working in general. Then you have maybe different areas of the world. Then you have maybe different employee models, right? Like contractors or employee or whatever. That's I mean, all of that shit plays into it, and like people downplay the fuck out of that. And it's like we're just constantly thinking about like the technology and all everything, but realistically, those things have probably been solved slightly one way or another. But I would argue it seems like the future of agency work is heavily heavily AI based, because so much of it can be done like automated wise, more managing of those processes. Because I mean, honestly, like I'm looking at this example that we're talking about here, and I'm thinking there's no way this is going to continue to survive. Like it's too stressful. There's too many like silly mistakes and bugs being made, even with good processes, that it's just it's really rough. Um, So, yeah, I also wanna make another note so I don't forget it. Okay. Next thing is I'm just gonna go off of what I kinda, like, can remember subconscious or stream of consciously. But the next thing is that timing in business, especially as you go a long stretch, like with agency stuff, like if you're just starting now, you should try to use the best shit that you possibly can now. But if you don't evolve and you don't evolve faster than you think you do, you're probably going to be fucked. The situation that we're in right now, without a lot of details, is that there has been a decade of work done, and it's not, I'm not saying it's been done in the wrong direction by any means, but it's been done in a direction. And in the last 2 years, 3 years, whatever, the reality of like what's possible has changed literally completely. It's going to complete 180. Like nobody thought we would be able to make static websites, marketing websites, et cetera, whatever with AI. I'm not saying you have to do that every time. I'm just saying like it's possible now. And then the the progress that has been made in the direction in this case, which again, this is an example. I know it's in everything. This is actually a fun fact. This is the second time in my life I've had this exact motif. And it's funny because it probably has happened more. I've probably seen it more, but I've literally been on my own, basically a solo operator for 6 years. I've seen this twice now, and it's both times that I've been deeper, like more deeply integrated into like a bigger operation, so to speak. And it's really funny because it must happen all the time. Then I'm gonna try to explain it. I'll try to explain it with the old example, and then I'll tie it into this. Is when I was at the real estate agency, long time ago, 2018, 19, 20. We were a bigger agency, like a bigger outfit, like, but still a franchise of a Remax. And there was two options. Like there was use the shit that the big company gives you or build your own shit. And I admire the, especially at the time, I admire the ambition and the vigor to build your own shit at that time. And just in general, like the CEOs and the you know, the executives were like, "Hey, we're gonna get some tech guys," and I was sitting next to them and I was working next to them. "We're gonna build out this whole ass system." At the time, it was like an ASP.NET and shit. "We're gonna build out this whole ass system with like 2 devs, and we're gonna try to make enterprise level fucking software with 2 developers." This isn't. This is a global problem, right? Like a high level issue here, and a problem mindset. And this is exactly why I feel like you always need somebody highly technical with the same amount of pull on the same level as like the executives. And that's still probably going to cause issues. I'm probably explaining things that have like happened and like have many, many examples, but this is just me giving my perspective on it. You always have to have somebody like that because you have to have somebody that the other CEOs, COOs, whoever trust so much that they will not go against it from a technical standpoint. Like the CTO in that example has to have the final say on everything because these visionaries out here, I've actually seen it multiple times now that I think about it in different cases, 2 big times. Another time specifically, I've dealt with a like a very visionary CEO that wants stuff, but like doesn't not, and I'm not saying this example is exactly the same, but like in different client scenario, like I could see like visionaries that want things and they want things to be done. And I'm not saying they can't be done, but like there is literally like a technical cost to things happening, as we know, and a time and investment and all that sort of stuff. So back to this real quick story. Let me finish this. Basically trying to build enterprise grade software with 2 developers, like a senior and a junior developer. Back then with no AI, not possible. Like it burnout, whatever. Like, I mean, whatever you want to call it. So then what happens is you spend so much time and energy on building this thing because, and I've never been in this position, so it's hard for me to not project, but like you're a CEO of a real estate company and you don't have any fucking idea about anything. You don't understand like what a fucking domain name is. You don't understand like anything. So you have to just blindly trust this the dev that you're talking to that, oh, this can be done. But the reality is like that's not easy at all. It's not easy. It's not. It's. I don't want to say it's not possible, but it's like the amount of time that it would take to do shit is crazy. Like certain stuff is crazy. Like building applications and stuff, especially by hand back then, ridiculous. Like it doesn't even make sense, right? And that was a small operation there. That was like 2 devs and like kind of like like a like a slightly more absent executive team that like wasn't like they weren't managing that 24/7. They were just like, oh, we got it to work, and now it's like it's working, so it is what it is, right? But it wasn't where they wanted to. So I don't know how to fix that. I know that was a little bit of a tangent, but my point is that was one other example in my life where I was like, oh my God, these executives started going down this rabbit hole and they built this whole thing. And because now I know how that story ended, even though I didn't stay there, is like they're not using that shit anymore. They're using like the global stuff, or they're using whatever. Like they've realized that like most of the time you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Like seriously, most of the time you don't. That said, some shit sucks, and like some stuff isn't necessary for what you're trying to do or what your client needs. So let me try to transition back into the website stuff. When you try to build like a product or like an extension of like a page builder and products and things like that for years, and now you look, you've been underwater for like you've literally been head down for like 10 years. Now you look up and you're like, we might not need this anymore. Like we might have other options that can build things faster. I'm also gonna write another note real quick. This is seriously gonna piss a lot of people off. I might get completely canceled by everyone for. Let me hold that thought for a second. When you come up from air after 10 years of building something, again, in this situation, actually, it's kind of similar situations, like 1, 2, 3 people max. The reality, this is really difficult. It's a difficult situation. It's difficult conversation. It's a difficult thing to navigate. You could build something really, really good, potentially. You could have put a ton of effort in. You could have the smartest people on it. But if you don't have the right amount of people, you don't have the right timing, and you don't have the right, and like the world just changes, you still have to fucking say, that was fun while it lasted. We need to cut this shit loose. It's really that simple. Like, imagine how much shit changes in 10 years from when you start building something to the like there's actually nothing. I'm gonna have to run this back through Claude to get like the specific lessons. Here's another lesson, and I'll give you another example that you're gonna hate me for saying in a second, which isn't the thing I was gonna get canceled for. If you have a software product that is older than like 10 years old, like with the same methodology or the same thing, there's got to be a rule. Let me just say it differently. There's got to be a rule that states in software that at this point, there has to be something that says your entire code base has to be rewritten or refactored every 5 years. There's got to be something. I'm not saying like, oh, you have to do this or you're going to get a fucking fine. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there's got to be like a best practice somewhere that says something like that, because there is no fucking way that you could possibly have. I've seen it. Software that starts today and lasts in the same code base, the same like structure of it, the same foundation of it, is still solid 20 years later, 10 years later even. I mean, fuck, look at WordPress. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's shit. I'm not saying you shouldn't use it. That's not what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, whatever the fucking first 10 lines, 100 lines of code were written back then, if they're still in there, like that's too hyperbolic. But like if that stuff, it's technical debt, right? If you don't purge technical debt regularly, and I know it's hard, I'm not saying it's easy, but if you don't do that, I just think that that's going to continuously be bad, right? I don't know how bigger companies work, right? The ones that have been here for like a long time, like Facebook and all this other shit or whatever. But I would have to imagine that that's got to be at some point, like some level of a best practice or something that people are thinking about or dealing with or what have you. So it's no different. This is a smaller example, but it's the same type of thing that I've learned here is like building a product to extend, to customize, to white label stuff. And it's taken a lot of energy, time, and money. And at some point, it might be like, that was fun. Maybe we try something different. So that's one thing I'm navigating. The way I tried to articulate that yesterday was just kind of like something like developing is particularly that, but in this era of context, writing code manually for the sake of developing is the easiest way to put yourself out of business. I'm firmly kind of in that camp because as I've been learning about this specific instance, I'm watching and I'm like, I appreciate it. It's a hard thing. I have the empathy for the architects, the developers, the engineers that are doing this stuff. However, if you're not using AI at this point to help and aid in your shit, you are literally doing a disservice to like yourself and the business and ultimately the industry in a way, because like, well, I mean, maybe not the industry. The industry might be fucking happy with you not doing that, but like you're gonna go out of business. Like there's no way. There's no one that can keep up with Claude, with Codex. There's no one that can keep up with it. That's objective. However, I'll grant you this. I'm not saying you should vibe code everything, okay? I vibe code most of the time because I'm not looking at the syntax, but we have different needs, okay? If you're building something and you're a developer, like I know it's weird because like you don't want to do that, but you should be. The biggest companies in the world right now, I know this for a fact, they don't write code anymore. Okay? They prompt and they QA. They prompt and they QA. That's what they do. And maybe they edit, obviously, if they need to, but they probably reprompt, okay? Everything's going this way. I don't care what we think about like with the world or whatever. Maybe we'll look at back at this in 5-10 years or whatever, and there'll be like a bunch of problems. I don't know how to, I'm not gonna predict that. I don't care to predict it. Okay. This is where I see everything going. I'm not trying to be a hype person. I'm trying to be like, I need to do this because this is what I see everyone else doing. And this is what I believe and what I know works for me. Right. So that's what I'm talking about. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. But that's where I'm at with that. So maybe I'll drop the bomb now. Got to tee it up with the whole thing though. It's like, again, imagine this. I'm gonna try to paint it as abstractly as possible. Imagine you're talking to like development minded people and you're seeing all of that and you're seeing that like with your knowledge, because you've used agentic coding, that like all this stuff could be done. There's 2 points actually. I gotta pause the bomb for a second. I watched development minded individuals like kind of utilize AI, and I understand why it's not their favorite thing to do, because it feels like I'm assuming it feels like it can't do it as good as them. It feels like it's just silly. Maybe they could just do it themselves because they have all the knowledge and they know exactly where the fucking bugs are. And they can read, trace, stacks, whatever the fuck real quick, and they can just boom, 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 and they can just fix things, right? Because I saw that. Here's the thing though. This is going to piss off developers, because this is just objective reality. Being able to orchestrate AI to do things for you is also a skill. If you're a developer and I tell you, find the bug and fix it, you could be the best developer on earth. You could go in there and you could find the bug and you could fix it in a minute. If I told you, okay, wait a second, reset the situation, get AI to fix it, those two skills are not strictly correlated. They're related. They're not the same thing though. Okay? And I feel so annoyed trying to teach this because like I feel like it's so simple, but like it's actually just communication. I've been calling it orchestration. It's just communication. It's like, how well can you communicate? And I'm gonna be an asshole. I know when I say this, but I think that a lot of times developers or development-minded people, like the highest skilled there, the communication skill is probably slightly lower than the development skill, right? Maybe even like a lot lower, depending on how that is. Not all the time, but it's just because you don't have to. You don't have to communicate as a trained software engineer that much. Like you do have to communicate, but that's not your skill. Your skill is sitting there, thinking, understanding those problems, and obviously, not everyone is the same. Like if you're less developer minded, maybe you're better at communicator. Maybe you're not, but that's not like a one to one. But my point is, I do see that pattern. So the reality of that situation is then, as I watch and I observe all of that, what is a developer going to do when they try to tell the AI what to do in that sense? It's like a weird middle ground where like they don't tell it what to do because they don't want to just give it the answer, even though they know the answer, but they also don't like just tell it to go figure it out itself. They say like some sort of weird middle ground where it's like weird. Also, I'm gonna say this for the millionth time, link in the description. Use Wispr Flow for the love of fucking God. I mean, so many people tell me that they can't talk into their computer because their mind doesn't work the same typing and thinking. Typing versus like thinking and talking. I don't buy it for a fucking second. Okay. I don't buy it at all. Everyone that has told me that, I've been able to have a conversation with just fine, and they're good articulators. But then they go to type, and it's like, you don't understand. I know this is a little bit of an offshoot, but go fucking buy Wispr Flow right now, or get your own shit. Don't just use my affiliate link. If you use my affiliate link if you want, because I appreciate it. But please talk to your fucking computer. Real quick on this, it's not that I don't want you to physically type. Okay, I say that because it's funny, and I don't want to physically type, even though I have this nice keyboard and it's funny. Whatever. Like, I don't want to do that. It's not that though. It's not that. It's that in my experience, and some people will tell you this is wrong because they think that context rot is like super important, and like the amount of context and all that sort of stuff. You are probably going to use more tokens if you put more shit in there, but I haven't had any problems like from what I've experienced. I'm on the OAuth subscriptions and everything like that, so it's like I'm not like using a certain amount of tokens or whatever. When I give the thing more context, it does a better job. So what does that translate to? If I asked you right now to type something into your computer, like if you wanted to prompt something and you typed it versus you talked into your computer, which one is going to give more context? It's going to be the talking. Without a doubt, no question at all. People are just naturally probably going to talk more than they're going to type, unless you're an incredible like end of the introvert spectrum and you never want to open your mouth at all and you just want to type all day, then okay. But that's the reason I'm so hyped on that. And the reason I say that so much is because that has fundamentally changed and unlocked everything. I do not type anymore. And that's the thing is like going back to the example, as you're watching somebody that's trying to explain this, they have to think about it. And then they're like thinking about like sentence structure and all this fucking shit. If you just hit the buttons on your keyboard and talk to the fucking thing like it was a developer sitting next to you or a junior developer sitting next to you or a designer sitting next to you, it's gonna be better for you. For the love of God, try it before you fucking say otherwise. It's going to be better than you trying to think about, how can I write this like I'm writing a fucking paper in 8th grade? Okay? Like that's why I'm so geeked on this. There's times to type, okay? There's times to make your shit, your grammar and everything look good. But when I talk to AI, I talk the same way that I'm talking to you. And you might think it's ridiculous and it's whatever. That's fine. But I'm not caring about sentence structure. Think about all the bullshit that you don't have to think about. You don't have to think about sentence structure. You don't have to think about punctuation. You don't have to think about like what thought goes when. It's fine. It's literally fine. At least from my experience. I say things, I stutter, I say, oh wait, no, actually this, it gets it. I don't know how. I don't know exactly how it gets it. Okay, I didn't train the thing, but we're past the point of specific like little prompt engineered shit that needs to be like so well defined and whatever. You're just shooting yourself in the foot if you don't do it. So I'm done with that. Sorry, but it was all important because this development situation, I see people that know the answers. They don't want to give it the answers, but they also like don't know how to prompt very well, and they don't give it enough context, and then they get mad, or they don't get mad, but whatever. But they're like, they it doesn't solve the shit for them. I'm not saying it could solve every problem either, but it doesn't solve the stuff, right? And then we can get into like different LLMs and giving it enough context, allowing it to see all of your code base, all that. But that's just what I've seen. So If my opinion changes on that, then I'll let you know, but that's kind of where we're at. A couple questions here real quick, and then I'll drop that bomb on you that you guys are gonna hate. What about us who have start a voice message 5 times until we know what we want to say? I'm trying to envision what that actually looks like. I mean, if there's a limit on how long you can talk for, obviously that might like be a problem. You can't like talk for whatever amount of minutes, but um I would honestly just I just think about what I'm gonna say for 2 seconds, for 10 seconds or whatever, maybe sometimes, and then I just either hold down the buttons. Again, I'm talking Wispr Flow, but whatever, like hold down the buttons or click the thing. I just wouldn't worry about it. You know what I mean? This is so low. There's so much there's low risk in this whole thing. Like I wouldn't worry about it. I would just be like, I would just talk to it like a human. Do you know what you're gonna say every single time you talk to a human? You know what I mean? Like it doesn't care about filler words. It doesn't care about that. You don't have to give it a fucking presentation every time you talk to it. You just have to speak to it, right? So I don't know. Maybe again, I don't want to project. Maybe there are people that actually have issues with this. It's just it confuses me when I literally see people say that, but they have perfect conversations. You know what I mean? Um, and that's seemingly totally normal. Maybe they need somebody to carry the conversation, and maybe that's why it's difficult to just voice memo in, and maybe voice mode would be better, although voice mode really nerfs the fuck out of your your outputs and everything like that. So I used that a long time ago, but I don't really use it too much anymore. Um, that's what I'm thinking. I'm using Amical. It's great and free and local. If you even want to better have a lifetime deal, nice. There's a ton of them. Yeah. So I mean, again, I'm hawking Wispr Flow just because I pay them and they pay me for they don't pay me sponsorship. They pay me affiliate when people use my stuff. Um, they're one of the biggest. They do have a lot of really cool features, but don't use it if you don't want to. I'm the concept. The concept. Please try it. Try it. Give it an honest shot for like 2 weeks. Try it. It will change your life, and if it doesn't, go back to typing. How realistic is to get 2-3K a month making websites in Framer? Oh, that's a good question. I think it's a great segue into my bomb that I'm about to drop here, where I was talking about everything earlier. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't have any experience building websites in Framer, but I mean, I think what I'm about to say could probably apply to Framer. I'll mention that too. But here's the thing. Gave you all that interesting context about this thing so far, about this engagement that I'm doing for this larger agency. And I'll continue to update you as I find things. But I do think that ultimately that's going to require me to help them implement some other workflows, probably more like AI driven stuff. We'll see how that goes. Like I said, I'll update you. But here's the bomb that I wanted to drop. Okay, take everything that I said there, all the stuff, the 10 years of all the work and everything like that to build a better experience. When now AI has came in and it has circumvented. Can I find the thing again? I gotta find the thing again here real quick. Let me see if I have the abstraction layers on here. I do. I gotta like bookmark this and always show this somehow. Look, okay, just so we're all clear as usual, right? So look at this. I made a video about this. You can go see it on the channel, but just so we're all clear, this was the traditional stack, right? We kept building up and up and up. We had like machine code, then we had assembly, whatever. We had system languages, we had languages and markup, we had frameworks. Maybe you guys have never fucked with any of this stuff. Okay, I barely did. I came in like I was I knew a little bit of like Python and stuff like that in college or whatever, HTML and CSS, obviously. Didn't really ever get into like frameworks specifically, but then I found WordPress, okay, and then I found Elementor, ultimately Bricks, whatever. Notice what this is. This is an abstraction ladder, effectively. So you have all these different things. You have all these dependencies. You have all this different stuff. What AI has done, if you so choose to do this, is allowed you to not need these top ones. Okay? If you don't want to, you don't really need these top ones. This is kind of is an asterisk on the CMS thing. I'm not saying you don't need a CMS at all. I'm just saying you don't need like all of the things that have been baked into like a CMS to a degree. You also don't need it if you don't want to, because my website right here, there's no CMS here. If I want to change stuff, I just go into Claude, I prompt it to change stuff. And it organizes the data in Astro, but that's a different topic for a different video. I just want to make this comment, right? You don't really need this stuff anymore. Like, you don't. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm not saying don't use it. I'm just saying you needed it before if you weren't technical. But now, or if you weren't highly like development minded technical. But now, with AI, with Claude Code, whatever, you can skip those. And you can just go directly in here. The reason I'm making this point is because AI doesn't sit up here, okay? AI, all the shit, it doesn't sit up here. It's not a new abstraction layer. If people call it an abstraction layer, like there is abstraction stuff about it. Like it's abstract in the sense of you don't know exactly what's kind of going on. It's probabilistic rather than deterministic. All that stuff is true. But it's not a new layer. It doesn't sit up here. You don't have to use it it's not like in order to use AI, you have to go through all these layers. That's not, obviously, hopefully, to most people, that's not the situation. So as soon as I realized that I could limit my dependencies and go lower, again, I have a little bit more of this background than maybe like the average person. So it's a little easier for me. But as soon as I realized that, then I went and did that. Right? Now, the bomb, okay? Let me sit up. Hang on a second. Most websites that have been built over the last 10, 15 years, from all the people that I've seen in the WordPress groups and the web development community type stuff, they're not special. They're not innovative. They're not groundbreaking. They're not extremely complex. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying that the reality of the situation is that 15 years ago, 20 years ago, websites as a concept were innovative. Along that time train, like e-commerce websites became innovative. Maybe I'm getting the dates wrong a little bit. Okay, like I wasn't fucking here for the whole thing. I'm saying like along that timeline, websites were innovations, right? E-commerce websites, big innovation. Web apps, big innovation. You have to be honest with yourself if you're still in this industry, okay? You have to be honest with yourself that websites are not innovative. Mostly at all, okay? Like the concept of like a brochure marketing website, probably should have been more specific. Not innovative in the slightest, okay? So the market is taking time to catch up. The company that I've been talking about in abstract this whole time charges people $50,000 to $150,000 to build websites. Those websites are mostly fucking marketing websites, okay? They have integrations and they have things, but to my knowledge, not a lot of them are like SaaS websites. They're built mostly in WordPress, okay? Or they're not SaaS websites. They're not, they're not e-commerce websites. They're built mostly in WordPress for like large, large businesses, like doing, $10, $50 million a year, whatever, like in industry, like not even service, like B2B type, I guess, kind of industries or whatever, right? Please be honest with yourself if you're going to continue to be in this industry that you're not really innovating that much, okay? I'm not telling you to feel sad about that. I just mean it's not an innovative thing. And it took me a long time to realize this because I thought everything needed to be special. I told the story. I think I told the story last week. I'll tell you the abbreviated version. I started building websites. I did the whole thing where I didn't want to build, like, I don't want to build cookie cutter websites, all this shit. I was watching A Nerd's World, Chris A. Hughes, and like I was looking at his stuff. I was like, I don't want to fucking build like theme, just take a theme and then change the shit. Stupid fucking business model to not mimic. I should have just done that because even then websites were becoming like, again, less innovative than they were. Like at the time, everyone was like, "Oh, you should build e-commerce websites because that's like it's more money oriented, ROI oriented, whatever." Right? I'm not trying to downplay your skills or your design skills or what have you. I'm not saying websites are going away. I'm just saying that there's cooler shit to do now. So be realistic about what is going on. And when I say cooler shit, I don't even mean a different variety. I mean that it's easier to build the shit that you're building now, and you're taking hours and hours and days to build the fucking shit. Okay. I'm not saying that means that yours is less good, but I am saying that if you're being honest with yourself, that a client is not going to want to pay you $10,000 to build a website that's going to take you 3 months when I could build the same website, I would argue just as good, in a 10-hour video on YouTube. The insurance one as an example. Okay? So I'm not telling you to lower your prices. I would actually rather see you ascend and provide more value, because if you think about it, like if you're doing less manual work, you should have more time and you should be able to like manually do more value work or automate more value work. That'd be great. But I'm just trying to be very direct with you that I actually, in all my time doing YouTube and again, the WordPress stuff, I met so many great people, and I never really had I can't think. I mean, maybe it probably happened, but like when you talk to a lot of people in WordPress, again, as the example, or these other ones, like any other freelance, framer or whatever, like any of these, you're probably talking to a lot of people that are like, the majority, just because that's how business works, are like smaller independent shops, freelancers, whatever. And you're talking to them and they're like basically creating a job for themselves, which I have literally done. And it's whatever. But when you think about it and you zoom out, how many conversations have you really had? How many honest, deep, transparent conversations have you really had with the businesses that are doing those higher numbers too? If it's going to start to affect them, which it is, because they're smart business owners and they already realize that they can't probably continue to charge $150,000 for websites that are like good but don't take the same amount of like time, energy, etc., whatever. It's probably going to affect you. It's actually probably going to affect you sooner, because the people that you deal with they probably have less money. They're probably penny pinchers. They just know. I'm not saying they're going to build their own websites, but they're at least going to be like, oh, like I have clients that don't know anything about AI, but they know that AI can do the work some of the work that I'm doing, right? And again, nuance every single time, not replacing you, just saying you need to embrace it. You need to use it so you can continue to move forward. I'll be honest with you, at this point, I'm not even sure where I was going with some of that stuff, but the point was that I'm not trying to impress upon you the same things that I'm thinking about, but building websites the way that you built them 5, 10 years ago now is just not going to work. I don't believe. Please prove me wrong, though. I mean, I'd love to be proven wrong. I just don't think it's going to work anymore. Much longer. The market is going to continue to move. It's going to continue to shift. And we're just seeing it really, really hard right now because we're in it. And I understand it's going to take some time to continuously move. But I'd rather be ahead. So you do what you want. But I'd rather learn and move in that direction. And I'll tell you this. The only reason that I'm getting paid multiple thousands of dollars right now to consult per month, to consult with a multi-million-dollar agency, is because I moved. It's actually the only reason. And well, I obviously document it too, and I nurture my relationships, but that's one of the only reasons. If I was just doing the shit the same way everyone else was, still, I would not have this opportunity. I wouldn't even, I would have value to add, but I wouldn't have nearly the type of value to add. Think about the opportunity that I have and that you potentially have. I'm not saying that you want to I'm not saying you need to start, if you just build websites and stuff like that, I'm not saying that you need to start trying to solicit multi-million-dollar agencies to advise for them. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if you want to continue to move forward and help your clients and things like that, you could put yourself in a position where like you are building in that way. and you're not just doing what works. I'll tell you one other example real quick because I don't know where this is going to go, but I'll tell you exactly what happened. I scroll on Facebook occasionally, and I saw a couple ads that have popped up multiple times for a random. I'm not even honestly. I'm not even 100% sure. I remember what the name is. I think I remember, but I'm not going to dox the people. Agency in my area, small agency, like young, like I was gonna say kid, but like 20s, like 20-year-old face of the agency, right? Like something like that. Like just a spry young man like myself was one at one point. Now I'm old. With a kid. This kid, fuck, I can't call him a kid. This young man has nice content. They have ads. It's actually a nice ad. Honestly, it's one of the nicest ads that I've ever seen, like from a service-based perspective, like actual good messaging, good editing, etc., whatever, right? And I see this ad a couple times, and I go to the profile and I see like some of the organic marketing that they're kind of doing. It's kind of like trendy, like real style marketing, right? Like shorts. And it's funny. It doesn't seem like they're getting a lot of like engagement super from it, but that's fine. But here's the thing. That's not the point. The point is I wanted to set the stage. I think about this and I think, fuck, I was this same person in 2018. And I don't know how they're building their websites. I actually, what I did was I reached out to them and I was like, hey, listen, I'm in the area. I like your hustle because you're actually giving a fuck and you're putting out ads and you're doing stuff and you're a good presenter and stuff like that. Like I like the hustle. I don't know. I mean, Christ, you might be making more money than I don't know. Nobody knows these days, right? These kids are fucking. I got to see teenagers on YouTube making, $17 million a month or whatever. But you might be making more money than me. But from what I can tell on the outside, there's probably some things that we could, mutually like just discuss. I'm not trying to sell the kid. I'm not anything like that. The young man. I'm not trying to sell him. I'm just saying like, here's what I see. Like, let's connect. Whatever. I do this. This is what I do. And I say that, and then we go back and forth. We haven't set up a meeting yet, but whatever. But the point is that I saw. I don't know. It's weird. I feel old. I saw myself in this dude. But if I was that dude, if I was the dude that I was in 2018 and 2026, and I was like building, if I was getting into this now, knowing what I know, oh my God, would I want to beat the fuck out of myself? I'm not saying don't get into websites, not get into WordPress or whatever, but I'm saying like the amount of knowledge that I have now, this is like my first old man moment. The amount of knowledge that I have now that I could dispense upon this person who I didn't check. I gotta check. I'm gonna check it off stream. I don't wanna, I wanna double check. I think I know it. Yeah. Let me find it real quick. Let me just see. Maybe they're doing great. Maybe there's a very good chance they're doing better than me. Honestly, in a lot of ways. Okay. So it's okay. Confirmed. The website is built with Elementor. Okay. I don't know about I didn't look at the client sites, but the website, their website is built with Elementor. If I started a web design agency right now with all the knowledge that I had, fucking 0% chance I'm starting to build with Elementor. Okay. And it's no shade on Elementor. Okay. I'm just saying that I probably wouldn't start there as a young, spry, ambitious person that could probably do a lot more. I don't know the background, whatever. Maybe I'll update you. That probably sounded harsh, but I wouldn't do that. Sometimes you got to do stuff or whatever, but like I probably wouldn't do that. I need you to understand though that what I just said is very different than a business that has been utilizing Elementor or Divi or Oxygen or Beaver Builder or whatever for years and has tenure. And then somebody like myself has to come in and be like, okay, this is working, but it's a little yucky, right? There's some problems that you're feeling, not just that I'm telling you, right? You feel them and I'm validating them with technical knowledge. Maybe we keep this going, okay? We keep this on like
life support, make sure it's still good. And maybe over here, we try to experiment with some other shit to see if we can refactor our development apparatus for 2026 and beyond. Because again, as we said earlier, probably gonna have to refactor this type of shit every so often, right? And that's just the business. That's the life cycle. What I should probably do, just for my own sake, and maybe you guys can, or maybe you tell me because some of you guys are smarter than me in certain aspects, maybe all aspects. You definitely have a lot more wisdom than I do. Maybe what I should do is I should go look at like study the history of like the long-standing companies that have outlasted, completely faceless, right? They're completely outlasted all their owners, right? They're like McDonald's is an okay example. Obviously, I love the founder of the movie, but more like Coca-Cola. It's like, what did Coca-Cola do to constantly stay up there? Maybe Pepsi too, but whatever. Like, obviously they kept their brand, but that's like a marketing thing, right? It's like, obviously, how do you take however long? I don't even know. Has it been 100 years? I don't know. Like, let's just say 100-year company. There's obviously things that have happened. Like, you've lived through wars, you've lived through technology changes, you've lived through all these things. What did that company do that long to make sure that they did, other than maybe lobbying and other fucking political bullshit? But like, what is there anything from a business standpoint that they did that stayed that long? And again, I'm not even saying that my goal is to have a 100-year company. My goal is like on a smaller scale, what are some of the best practices that we have to do in a fucking industry that changes every 2 seconds? I'm sure Opus 4.8 or 4.8 probably came out. I'm sure 5.6 is, coming out tomorrow or something. You know what I mean? Like, that's a terrible joke. But my point is like, that is the thing that I'm trying to understand more and more now that I have even more of these opportunities to like look into these bigger companies and the stuff like that, because there's got to be something where it's almost like you're like your life cycle. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know why I think of like a caterpillar. I don't think does it actually, it doesn't die, right? The butterfly dies, right? I'm right on that. I don't know. Anyway, my point is like, you have a life cycle. It's like you're shedding like skin or something like that, or your old stuff every so often in order to grow, right? So I think Sam Ovens did actually say it a long time ago when he was making videos in his bedroom or whatever. It was like, I remember this one specific thing where it's like, you have to go through phases of like scale. And then when you scale, you create chaos. And then you have to come in and you have to like, I can't remember exactly what he said, but it's probably somewhere. But like, then you have to like refine all of that. So it's like you take 2 steps forward and then maybe you take like a half step back while you refine everything. And then you take 2 steps forward and then you take another half step back. I'm butchering it, but that's the idea. So maybe it's a little bit of that too. But I just think that that's where literally everyone is right now by force. So any way that I can attribute value and help people and make money from it, that's pretty much what I'm looking at right now. All right, we got some comments here. Framer is dead. I don't know. Maybe everything's dead. I'm not sure. I haven't used it enough. What do people use for dictating on Linux? Wispr Flow is not available yet. I don't actually know. I don't use Linux. I'm sure there's probably some open source shit or something. If anybody has any thoughts, drop them in there. 10K per website. Times are over, guys. Deal with it. I would asterisk it, and I would just say that you could still charge. You could charge anything. Okay, don't get me twisted. You could charge anybody anything anybody's willing to pay, right? Like, you could do whatever you want, and God bless you if you can do that. Charging people 10K is not over necessarily, just objectively, because this client or these people that I'm dealing with, like, they still charge hundreds of thousands of dollars. But maybe for the clients that we've normally been accustomed to, it is probably like slightly over. I just think though that like, I don't see it as lowering my prices necessarily. I see it as actually increasing my hourly rate. Again, I've been transparent with that 10-hour long video that I made of me building that insurance website that I think is solid. I mean, you can nitpick it all you want and everything like that. It is objectively a good professional website from looks, the way that it functions, the speed, all that sort of stuff. It's not perfect, but I don't give a fuck. Like, it's good. Okay. It's better. It's way better. It's way nicer than a lot of the shit that I built in WordPress because I didn't have to think about any of the front end UI. I just like orchestrated it. 10 hours, $2,500. Probably could have charged more for that. But that was my first one with that. And I was just like, I'm not gonna, I need more, like, I need more reps with this. So that's where we're at with that. That's not pricing guidance either. Do whatever the fuck you want. But all I'm saying is like, one thing I will tell you is I've tried to decide that like I'm gonna have an hourly rate and just try to stick to it. Like I reverse engineered a little bit of an hourly rate. You can kind of tell it's like the 299-ish number that I have for the calls. Link in the description if you want to get an advisory call. But that number is kind of what I've tried to, at least for now, it'll change, but like that's what I've tried to like pin my stuff towards. I've never done hourly, I've never done any of that, but like if you're gonna pick a number and you want your time to be worth it, then there's no science on this. I've done too many experiments on like project versus hourly versus just gut feel. It's all terrible. But if you could just like, it's a little easier in your mind if you say, okay, I'm going to charge somebody $3,000 for this, and if it takes me more than 10 hours, then I have a problem. You know what I mean? At least you have something to measure. It might not be a perfect number, but at least you have something to measure towards, and then you have something to, you know, affect later and change. So yeah, um, you can still charge whatever you want. It's just, are they going to say yes or not? Because I've lost, I'm going to give you a ridiculous number. I've lost roughly like, I don't know, somewhere between $15,000 to $30,000 in recurring monthly revenue because I priced it too high for what they actually like kind of needed, or like what I wanted to get out of it, when I probably should have just charged them less and made sure that the scope was less. Because the worst thing that could happen there is they're like, "Hey, you're not doing enough work." Well, it's like, "Listen, this is what we agreed to, and this is what it was. Pay me more money and I'll do more work." You know what I mean? Sometimes people just want a lot of work for not a lot of money, and that's a problem. But I don't know. I didn't want to turn it into a pricing conversation, but that's kind of what I was thinking there. What else we got here? I wish I could highlight these comments. Sorry, guys. I got to figure that out. Where's that? It's over. Framer, Webflow Bros. Also, website itself are going to go away as well because of the agent web that we're going to have in a few years. Again, I do agree with the idea that websites are absolutely going to change forms. I mean, they've already been changed in a way. Like, you can buy shit on social media sites, and the attention doesn't really come from SEO per se anymore. I still think it's important to build a brand, at least for the time being, and everything. I don't see a way out of that because humans still connect with humans and stuff, and just emotionally somehow. But we're gonna have some sort of something, like, you know what I mean? Like it's not just gonna be you're going to websites constantly all the time. It's probably gonna be more like agent OS. And you just prompt and deal with that. That's why I'm saying, like, don't be afraid. Just fucking use the shit. Like, you have a little bit of runway. Just use this stuff more as much as you can, and try to do it for your work. I've said it before. If there's ever something that you want that, okay, here's an exercise, okay? The next time that you need to do something, manual, repetitive, whatever, okay? The next time that you need to do something digital, and like you don't go to, well, I mean, you could, if you want to do it, then do it, okay? Life's short, do whatever the fuck you want. But if you don't want to do it, if you get like the slightest resistance in your mind right away when you have to do something, this is what I want you to do. I want you to stop right away. And I want you to say, all right, this is what I'm going to do with this task. I'm going to go just for fun. Okay. Don't stress about this. Go to Claude Code, go to Codex, whatever. See if you can get the clanker to do the work for you. See what it would take. Just explain it like a human, preferably with your voice. Say, hey, I filmed this podcast and I filmed it with Riverside, and I'm gonna be honest with you, Claude. I really do not want to edit this shit. Okay. I've done it before. I've had people edit it before. You know, I've paid people to do it. You know, I'm not against that, but I just don't want to do that. You know what I mean? I don't feel like that's like, I know that there's just more opportunity to not have to do that, you know, myself and not have to pay people, right? And I know that if we use your skill set to create something deterministic, we could create something that's pretty good. So why don't we just do this, Claude? Why don't I just act like you're, you know, my assistant here? And you're, you know, obviously you're a software developer essentially. And why don't I just explain to you exactly how I do my process right now? And then we could just slowly do it together. We could create a system that where we could do at least automate some of the things. Maybe it's not the whole thing. Maybe I'm doing some stuff that's kind of complicated. You can kind of rank this. You can kind of like, I'll tell you my whole process. You look through it modularly, and then you tell me like what the easiest low hanging fruits are for you to handle, and then maybe we could just pull out some of that stuff. So instead of maybe like me you know, having to physically manually go put the audio into Auphonic, I could just kind of give it to you or tell you where it's at, and you can go send it there via the API with a little connector that you create. Maybe you could at least give me some templates that I could use. You could create the templates and then I could use those and edit them for the thumbnails or whatever. Bro, like it's that simple. Okay. Like I don't know how harder to make it. Like I'm not saying it's easy, but it is simple. Like it's gonna take time. You're gonna be sitting there like I was earlier today, and I was like, "Fuck, I really don't want to be in here anymore with this VS Code, in VS Code and Claude Code because it's like it's giving me stupid little problems." Like it for some reason it decided on if you were here earlier, like the workflow that I literally just kind of outlined there for you for the podcast, it brought the guest's audio way up because it was way down. There was like static and stuff in there. And I was like, you kind of fucked that up. We got to figure a solution. It's like, okay, well, let's just send it through Auphonic. Okay, great. So that's solved. There's some sync issues, right? Like because it took the audio and then it took the video and had to remux them. There's some syncing issues. Oh, well, let's just fix that. I mean, guys, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It's like you have to be willing to sit there and fucking tell it what to do. But like, think of all the amount of time. If you can get this thing to work, if it's not like literally going to the moon, you're probably gonna get it to work. And think about if you can if you package up, maybe you could sell it. But like even for yourself, like you're gonna save a ton of time if you actually use this thing moving forward. It's gonna take a little bit of time up front, but you know. So yeah, that was a long tangent from the agent web shit, but let's rip through some more of these comments. I appreciate you guys, and I cannot highlight them. Uh, Elementor is, I'm assuming that says fucked because they can't pivot. They're stuck. Yeah, I haven't looked into the new stuff anymore, but the problem, I mean, the thing with them is like they have such a good user base, and again, unless those people pivot, they'll still make money. But if I was in that position, I would probably be building up like a secondary castle, you know what I mean, or secondary tower. Which I mean, obviously they're pivoting. Real quick on that because it is important. When I was talking about the abstraction stack thing, okay, I could make this a little bit better. But like when I was talking about this, what's going to happen is, read this right here. So AI gets worse the higher you go up. Page builders and CMS platforms add proprietary logic that AI has to work around instead of through. More abstraction, harder for AI, not easier. This is like the actual fucking key statement of literally everything that's happening right now. Okay. And I don't know why I haven't read that on camera yet. That's the key statement. So with like Elementor and everything that sits up here, it's just more fucking little, like imagine you're in a fucking jungle, okay? And you got your Claude Code sword and you're and then like you get to the edge of it and you're like, okay, we know how to deal with like all of like machine code, all this bullshit, like whatever. But like we know how to deal with Astro and Next.js, like and HTML and CSS so well because it's so deterministic and programmatic. Obviously, you still get like problems here and there, but like it's so there. And then you get to the edge of this and you're like, fuck, I have 6 more miles of fucking brush that I have to swat through because I got to go through WordPress, whatever I got to go through the API of whatever the fuck is going on there. I got to go through the the page building however the hell they serialize all the data. Maybe I have to go through the custom post type thing that I'm dealing with. I'm not saying things don't exist. I'm not saying these problems aren't being solved. Like Novamir I hear is great. Obviously 7.0 came out with the connectors and shit. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying, how high do you want to fucking climb this ladder? That's what I'm asking. Climb it all the way to the tippy top. Climb it to heaven. I don't give a shit. I'm just saying, like, that's the calculus that I'm making in my head. Is like, I'd rather just come down here. Okay? I'd rather just come down here. Now, but it's not to say that people that are squarely in this, again, this came up from the Elementor. Elementor has AI. It's gonna get better. Like it's just gonna take longer because you have to sift through more shit up here. It's just how it is. That's not even derogatory. That's just there's more stuff that has to be figured out because it's higher. It's higher in the layers. It's what it is. So yeah. What do we got here? Elementor. This fucking chat's a little weird. Where are we at here? I lost my spot. Oh wow, we got a lot of chats here. Okay. Elementor needs to be lovable or bolt right now, not in 2 years. I mean, I don't disagree with that. I mean, again, even like lovable and bolt though, like, yes, like they're the next iteration. And they're probably a better iteration for like a lot of like regular consumers, I guess. But again, I think you with web knowledge will do a better job than a consumer with lovable. I still stand by that. It's going to do a good job. It's going to do a way better job than them dicking around in Squarespace in 2010. Okay. Or maybe 2015, 2018, whatever. But, or 2020, but it's going to do a better job. Make no mistake. Like it has the patterns. Like it will create something that is like a bakery website or like a landscaping website. It will do a half decent job, even with the shittiest of prompts. Okay. But you still like, I never try to be doom and gloom or hype. Like you have skills. Please just utilize your skills with the new technologies that allow you to enhance your skill set, because you right here with the old shit and customers down here with like no knowledge plus AI, they're going to get kind of close to you. They are really. They might not get close in like the output necessarily, but they're going to get closer in the time to output, which in business kind of matters. Okay. Like speed isn't everything, but it is a big deal. It is a big deal. I used to not think it was. It's a big deal because you could fuck up. Like imagine if it takes you an hour to do something fast, like if you try to do it fast and it takes an hour versus you try to make it perfect and it takes 10 hours, you could fuck up 10 times and you could learn so much in that 10 hours. Like if you did that process, like those 10 times, you would actually probably end up in the 11th hour. You'd probably have something way better than the 10th, than the perfect 10 thing, because you just don't know what you messed up and you're going to have bugs anyway. Cause this is software. You're always going to have bugs. So please don't use that argument with the AI stuff. Okay. Sugar. Something about sugar is a drug. Very easy. Yeah. Sugar. The problem is that I really don't enjoy prompting AI. I feel zero fulfillment at the end. I'm empathetic to that and I feel bad, but I don't know the answer. That probably does that come from a design? Like you like, I don't know, your avatar. Are you a designer and you like to manually design and see that output? Or are you a developer and you like to manually develop and see that output? I don't want to be like an asshole, but the only thing I care about is progress and moving forward and getting better. So that might just be that's very, I'm not everyone, right? I'm not trying to cast that on you. I'm just saying that's all I care about. I'm fueled by progress is my name of my podcast. Like sometimes I forget that, but that's what I like. So I don't care. I'm fulfilled because I'm doing, like, things are getting done. Things that I want to do get done, even if they suck sometimes, right? Because now I don't have to do that work. So, not saying it's an easy problem to solve, but that's just my thought. Where do you see web design and when Google turns everything into an AI chat? I mean, we talked a little bit about AI mode earlier. I mean, I feel like I've been saying this the whole time. Is like, I don't know how long ago that was. How long ago was that? That was like a half an hour ago. Sorry, I do this all the time. I'll try to speed through some of these, but again, like, yeah, that was like, yeah. I mean, I just feel like the idea of websites is going to continue to evolve. I'm not going to stop doing them because if people pay me money to do them, like I still think you should have one. You need one right now. Like it's not gone, but I do think it'll continue to change. And I think the only way to handle this is to not be scared, not be worried. Just try to pay attention as much as you can while still working and just do whatever is working. Don't think that you're going to have your whole fucking business or life planned out with any of this stuff. I don't know if you've been around for the last 5 years. The world is completely different. And it's probably going to continue to get different. It might get worse. It might get better. It might get worse before it gets better. I don't know. But just like keep doing, you know? This is literally the best advice that I could give you. If you want the advice. Maybe you guys don't want the advice, but this is the best advice that I could give you based off what I've learned recently. I used to like build websites just because like that was what I knew and whatever. Like there's no rules. Like you don't need to just build websites. Like even though I broke out of this mindset that I was in for a while because of like the stuff I was consuming. You don't need to be fucking the best person at anything that you're doing to make money from it. You just need to be honest and give a fuck. And if you mess up, that's fine. Say you're sorry, fix the problems. Like if you have to give money back, whatever. Don't be afraid. Like that's all you have to do. Like you don't like everyone. This has triggered this crazy thing again. I'll relate it to AI just because there are like legitimate reasons to like not build shit with AI, I guess, in certain instances. Most of them are bullshit. Just because like your shit is not like perfect to the T, you know, like every T is crossed and I is dotted, doesn't mean you can't. I mean, I don't know how we got psyoped into this. I got psyoped into thinking that I needed to build unbelievably perfectly basically unattainable, semantically perfect websites. That is just not fucking true. Not to mention it's easier to get to that place now because you have the AI assistants, but it's not real. Like you're just gonna not make any fucking money and you're gonna go broke. You're gonna lose your fucking house. Like if you don't actually like try, because like the only way that you're gonna get better is if you continuously do. And I mean you have to learn, but like learning is not doing. Like you don't just consume all YouTube content and never actually do any work and never actually take any money for stuff and prosper. Like that's not, you have to go do that. And I was in that funk for fucking like 2 years, it felt like. And I did not put myself in a good position mentally or financially because of any of that. And then when I decided, you know what? I'm fucking good enough. Like I can just share what I'm doing, document my stuff, tell people that I have value to give, express that value, and then put numbers in front of them and see if they fucking take it. And if not, it's fine. Then, and the second part of that is like actually giving realistic numbers, not like sitting in front of a proposal for, 2 days thinking like, oh man, what if the worst case scenario goes like, oh, I'm going to have to spend so much time on this. So I'm going to have to keep, creeping the price up artificially because I just think about the worst case scenario. No, you don't realize, maybe you do, maybe you don't, but as the last thing I'll say, and then I'll go back to the chat. You need to realize that like nobody trusts you until they give you a little bit of money and you do something good for them. But once that happens and you do a good job, then you can start to actually ask for more money and do more things. And if you don't do that step, then you could literally, I've done it. I'll tell you exactly what I did. I put a $13,000 a month thing in front of somebody and said, this for what everything you said to me, this is what I'd probably have to charge because of how much work it would be. Stupidest fucking thing ever, because I could definitely have gotten that amount of money at some point if I didn't do a foot in the door offer, or if I didn't do like a smaller scope and whatever. Because a lot of times clients come to you with like these crazy expectations, and then the reality is they don't know how much it's going to cost to do the actual work, and you have to steer them in the right direction, or better yet, take a little bit of money from them. So they know, like, you're not just trying to say, oh, you actually want is like, $15,000. You're actually asking for $15,000 work. Just be like, hey, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, what you're asking for is kind of high. Like, it's a lot of work. I'm gonna have to make it high. I could tell you what that's gonna be, and we could talk about that. But honestly, I'd much rather like just give you some value, like for a smaller engagement, so you can kind of see how I work and you can feel a little bit better before I throw this big price tag in your face. Or we could lower the scope. I mean, whatever you think, and lower the price that way. But yeah, that's actually kind of a better option, because I'd love to do some work for you and provide value, and you definitely need like a test case for that. I feel like probably to feel good about it, right? So it's easier for me to say that to you in the camera than it is to say that to a client. I get that, but that's literally what it is. Like I've learned that so much. So yeah, again, I went on a huge tangent as usual. What's your take on Etch, especially the new AI workflow? I'm not gonna lie to you, I haven't been in there in a little bit. I've just been, well, realistic. Very recently, I've been largely busy with my child, my son. I've been keeping up with Kevin though. We chat here and there, so I need to go take a look at it. But um, I'll tell you, I'm very excited. I think Kevin has said this now. It's not going to be WordPress alone. So I'm very excited for what happens there. I'll tell you my honest thing here. I think that Kevin Geary is incredibly ambitious, and he's going to continue to make Etch like the best it can be. It might rival things like Cursor, but I do believe that, for better or for worse, this is no criticism on WordPress. I think that you can't do that from within WordPress. Like, it's just too. I'm not saying you shouldn't still be in WordPress. I think it'll still be applicable to WordPress, but I think that there's too much. What's the word? What the fuck is the word? I'm blanking. But like, there's with Etch, like as a product, as like with him as a founder, with the team and everything like that, everybody's great. I've met a lot of them. Like, there's too much good stuff that could happen that like it's kind of just butting up against ceiling, and they know that, and that's why they're making those changes and continuing to build the product. Like, I think it's just going to continue to do really well, like as it breaks outside of just like the simple or like just the standard like WordPress type of market, and it can do more things because it's basically like it's a visual development environment, right? And it just had to start in WordPress. So I'm keeping my eye on it in that regard. And like I said, I talked to Kevin here and there, so we can continue to have that discussion. But yeah, where we at here? This chat is pissing me off. Where we at? It's messing all around here. Okay. What do we got? Etch is still based in WordPress and Page Builder. You don't need page builders anymore. Yeah, I mean, it's a different way of saying what I kind of said. You need a design system. That's it. You do need a design system. That's important. You still need a CMS. WordPress is still a great one. I mean, you don't need a CMS. But that's an extremely loaded statement. So I'm not going to say that. I just wouldn't say you don't need a CMS. I'll put it like that. I wouldn't say that. I would say that like a CMS is absolutely optional in a lot of cases now. Depends on who you are. Depends on what you want to do. I'm radical. I would rather, I tweeted this. I would rather, I don't know what I said. Did I say unalive myself? I don't know what I said, but I said I would rather X whatever than build a website by clicking around in the UI anymore. That's me personally. Again, you can go watch the videos on the channel if you don't know what I'm talking about. I built this website completely with my voice, not like actually with my voice, but like, again, prompting through Claude Code. You can say what you want about it. I'm not saying it's going to win design awards, but I didn't go for that, so I don't really care. Like, like It's a good website. Like I don't know how to say it. It's got a lot of content on it. It's all about me. It's not bullshit boilerplate stuff. It's got cool integrations. It's got this fucking thing right here that you can never do in WordPress. I mean, like this is from my YouTube music thing. You know what I mean? Like it's got music on my website. So I mean, you know, I don't know how to explain it. I love that. I love every bit of that. I love that. So what I mean is like this website doesn't have a CMS. Does not have a CMS. Like there's nowhere I can log into to do anything. It's a static website hosted on Cloudflare Pages. And if I want to change something, if I want to say, oh, I want this to say something different, I go into Claude Code. This isn't the right project, but I go into Claude Code and I tell it what to do. If you don't like that, then that's fine. If you're limited, right? If you're working for a client, I'm not saying a client should go into Claude Code and do that, but like it depends on what you're doing. If they're not going to change anything about the website, then you don't need that. If you do want them to change things, then there's other options. You could use headless WordPress. You could use, I built the other website, my keyboard off. This website right here, this website has Sanity as the CMS. Okay. Built that. That was the one that I built on that live stream. I do have a headless one that I built for a client, headless WordPress one that I built for a client. Trying to think if I used any other CMSs yet. I don't think so. But yeah, that's my point is, again, I wouldn't say that you need a CMS. I would say it's like you might need it in certain instances. So it's a really radical thing to say though. I mean, I'm sure people, you know, people might not like that. I will make one comment. WordPress is a good CMS mostly because it's familiar for people. Like that's the reason it's a good CMS. The problem that I had with WordPress, or the problem that I've had, is like when you think about it, I want you to think about two things. I want you to think about the last WordPress website you made that's all in WordPress. And then I want you to know if you've ever made a website that's headless, I want you to think about, compare that WordPress install to the headless one. The headless one has like 2 plugins on it max. Like it's got like maybe a custom post type plugin on it. Like that's what it is. You know what I mean? And what's funny is like WordPress could be great, even better. I mean, I think they're doing it now a little bit, like it's baked in, but like if it had custom post types and stuff built in, it would actually be like a really strong option for that type of work. But they just, for some reason, they didn't do that. So then people would download ACF or Jet Engine or whatever, and they'd be like, okay, I'm doing the custom post types. Like, okay, well, in the very beginning, like it was just a blogging platform with like not like a lot of design and, you know, no page builder stuff or whatever. And then the page builders came in, and it's like, WordPress as an ecosystem has just been so like co-opted and manipulated into like so much shit to fuck with the front end of your website that, I mean, obviously there's a lot of back end stuff too, but if you had to like do it would be interesting to do like a spread on like all of these plugins that exist. Are they more back end or front end? I moved that landscaping website, as you can see on my channel. I moved it from Elementor to Astro. So like Elementor on the front end to Astro on the front end. And then I just kept like the WordPress backend. I deleted literally almost every plugin because everything that I was trying to do in WordPress via plugin was on the front end. It wasn't like any of the backend stuff that you would need. And honestly, like when you go to like an Astro or whatever, like a lot of that stuff actually gets encapsulated, like with SEO and everything like that. Like the WordPress website no longer has a lot of that baked into it. So I don't know. I just, like I said, I thought that was a good experience. I would build more headless WordPress websites. I have zero ambition, honestly, to build like WordPress websites as I was building them before, like fully monolithic. I'm trying to think if there's like another way to describe it. I just feel like once you go down that abstraction layer and you know that you could do everything with like, you know, Opus 4.7 or 4.8 now or whatever, and you could do it at the code level, you're never going to have a more Like you're never gonna have a better experience because you already have limited your dependencies on what you're dependent on to build that. You obviously have a big one in the sense of that you're depending on Opus, but we're gonna have local AI and shit like that too. So I'm not really worried about that because if that gets fucked, then everyone's fucked, and those aren't situations that I worry about or lose sleep over. So the big dependency that I have, or all the dependencies that I had before when I was up higher in that abstraction layer are gone. And even if you say like, oh, you want all that stuff still, you could layer some of it back in. But even if you said you wanted all that stuff, it's still going to take a long time. Even with everyone vibe coding everything or whatever, it's still going to take some amount of there's going to be some sort of time disparity between like you getting new stuff or your workflow getting better versus like the other timeline of you where you're handling stuff still in like WordPress, whatever it's in, Bricks, Gutenberg, whatever the fuck. So more dependencies, more abstraction layers, more shit to sift through to get the same type of output, I feel like, that you could have gotten at the lower level. Not trying to sell you on it, just telling you where I'm thinking. All right, let's rip through some of these. You still need WordPress or other CMS when you do real e-commerce. Infrastructure is a different beast. Yeah, I mean, e-commerce is kind of a different thing. Honest to God, though, really depends on what you mean with e-commerce. If you're just charging people simple stuff and you don't need products, I would literally just all day like just use Stripe at this point. I just moved everything to Stripe. I had some stuff on Client Portal. If you remember, if you guys have been around for a long time, Client Portal with QuickBooks and WooCommerce subscriptions and all that shit. That's nightmare. Would never do it again, to be honest with you. If I had to make a e-commerce website right now, I would use Shopify. I would. I probably wouldn't build it. I actually had someone ask me about that, and I probably wouldn't build it. I wouldn't vibe code an actual e-commerce website, I don't think. It would depend on who I'm doing it for and stuff like that. Like there would be ways to do it through Stripe where you can handle the products and stuff, but I probably wouldn't do it. Definitely wouldn't use WooCommerce personally. Maybe I would use SureCart, but I don't know. It would depend on the project. Yes, there are 10,000 better headless CMS than WordPress. Use Astro. I mean, I like Astro. Clients still need a place to change their text, etc. I think it's a limiting belief. I do. Is it easier for somebody to navigate into a UI or whatever and change the text, or is it easier to remember where to go and navigate in there, or is it easier for them to have a text box and say, hey, change this text to say, hi, my name is, instead of, what's up, brother? You know what I mean? Like it's, I don't think we're there yet. We're really close though. So I don't disagree with you. I'm not saying like if they're already doing it that way, like rip it out from under them. I'm just saying that I'm slowly starting to either nurture my clients to not care about it so I can care about it and I can do it quicker, or move them in the direction of this is where the world is headed. We can have maybe a CMS as a backup, but like I'd rather you just be able to do it as fast as possible. Like you're just telling, bro, when a client, there's a couple different concepts I'm blending here, so don't get it twisted. But like, if a client wants something changed on a page, are they capable enough to tell you how to do it or what they want? Like, have you ever gotten an email from a client saying like, hey, change this header from ABC to XYZ? If they can tell you to do it, they can tell the AI to do it. Now, I'm not saying you want to give them those keys too. That's like another conversation to have. But realistically, what could happen in a lot of your businesses probably right now is if you get those types of emails, I haven't even set this up yet, but I know it's easy, or I know it's straightforward, not necessarily easy, but you could definitely watch your email when client email comes in, look at it, take that prompt, take whatever they say, drop it into Claude, like just basically forward it to your clanker, and then have it have access to the code and just change it, and then maybe submit it to you for review or something like that. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is, if requests are that easy, sometimes you have to be the man in the middle. You have to make the decisions and help advise. I get that, but if those things are that easy, because we're talking about changing text and shit, right? If those things are that easy, then you could probably just prompt them, or you could create some sort of automation type thing where they're not dicking around in the back end of WordPress anyway. That is objectively hard for a layperson to finagle sometimes. So that's my thought on that. I do think we're going to see more of that. Not right now necessarily, but yeah. Yes, then make them a CMS. Very easy. Clock can do in a few minutes. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's definitely a lot of vibed CMSs. They are just doing things. AI makes me happier. Makes me happier too. I agree. Vibe coding a CMS, is that really the answer? How do you make sure that it's scalable and maintainable and actually secure? Clients expect media libraries and user permissions. Yeah, there's a lot of things to care about there. I've never done that, so I can't really comment on it entirely. It's only vibe coding when you don't know how to do it. That's true. I don't know how to do it, so I'd be vibe coding it. True, a good dev can guide the AI, but a good dev knows building custom CMS from scratch. The client is just unnecessary on so many levels. I think it's unnecessary if we're saying, I don't know what we all have experience with. Like Sanity, I didn't love everything about Sanity, but it's way different than WordPress. It basically gives you nothing out of the box and you add to it, rather than like with WordPress. In my opinion, the worst part about it was that it, by default, they're not admins, but basically you have to hide a bunch of shit, because WordPress is so modular in a way that, like, if you had a monolithic WordPress website and you try to bring your client in, there's going to be so much shit in there that they're going to see, even if they're at the editor role, that like they don't need to see. So then you're getting like fucking menu editing plugins and stuff, and it's just more small amounts of money, but like possibly more money and just more time. And then you have that exposed. You can have like options pages, but then that's literally the UI that they would see. It's like, it's literally just 3 tabs. There's no other shit. It does some bullshit where like it does have like, you have to have a Sanity account, so that's kind of like annoying. But other than like just like what they see, you know what I mean? Like the actual UI of it, it's very simple. So if you were going to vibe code your own CMS, I would literally just tell you to try Sanity or something similar first, because I think, I'm not saying vibe coding your CMS is a terrible idea. I don't know what goes into it, so I can't speak to it. I just think that that's closer to the solution than trying to lock down like WordPress, from what I've seen. Unless they need WordPress, and then you just charge them to build that. Okay. I'm using now Nova on all my pages to convert them to Gutenberg blocks. Interesting. Saves me around 2 to 3 plugins on some pages. All new pages are now Astro. Huh. Wait. I'm very confused. Using Nova Mira, which I have not tried yet, to convert them to blocks, and all new pages now. What kind of, that's interesting, Fat J. What kind of setup is that? That sounds like 2 separate things. Are you headless there? Or are you pulling everything out and making it Astro? AI is just basic IT literacy at this point. I mean, it's just our job. Yeah, I would agree. If you don't understand points of web design, you're cooked. Great pages up in a few hours without moving divs around like it's 2020. Yeah, I don't want to drag and drop anything. Mark, have you used any alternatives to Google Analytics for your Claude projects? Google Analytics, yeah. Google Analytics is in trash for me. I'm using Plausible, so I like it. It's pretty easy. It's relatively inexpensive. I think it's supposed to be one of the privacy-ish ones. I know there's Fathom and Persh and all that. Plausible is good though. I mean, it has an API. So I made a video in Modern Builder Society, link in the description if you want to join the community, a while ago, where I was kind of explaining, I was like, the thing AI has done is it's made everyone at least developer adjacent in a way, or like developer empowered, right? Now, regardless of forget the syntax shift for a second. Okay, just think about this. If you would have wanted to, 3 years ago or whatever, if you wanted even less than that, but if you wanted to like look at your analytics, right? You have even Google Analytics probably could do this, but it'd probably just be more of a pain in the ass. Really don't paste it in the chat, but get at the API key somehow. Tell it to go look at the docs or feed it the URL for the docs. It will, every single time I've ever asked this thing to basically create its own little connector function or whatever to anything, like any API, it does it fine. It takes the API key in, it does it, and then it returns me all the data. So the cool thing is like, I don't want to look at my analytics. Like Google Analytics is fucking terrible, but like it to look at. But if you even Plausible, like I don't want to go through it and try to interpret it myself. I'd rather just have all that data be ingested via an API and then be like, hey, just can we talk? Can we have a conversation? Right? Because now what you've done is you've created like an analytics consultant. Is like all the data is in there, right? You run it for a month or whatever, and then you hook it up via API, and you're like, okay, hey, just tell me about my analytics. Just tell me like where's my biggest pages, where are people getting dropped off at? What are some things? And it'll do its best. And you can drill into different things, right? That's why I've really enjoyed that. I got to get going here pretty soon because I think my wife has an appointment or something. And I got to go watch the little guy. Okay. You can use CLI from Google to make your own reports, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I haven't with Claude. Yeah. Same concept there. Yeah. I just got out of there. Maybe I'll change one day, but I don't know. People are delegating more and more their skills to AI because of convenience. Do you feel that will create an industrial? Let me pull this over here. I can't fucking read that anymore. It's too far away. People are delegating more and more of their skills to AI because of convenience. Do you feel it will create an industrial levels of de-skilled people and loss of fulfillment and significance? That's a great question that I probably don't have enough time to go deep into, but I would like to. In a concise way, I think that is going to happen, but I also think that there's always been hate this if you want. Hate this way of me putting this if you want, but I love it because I think it's the nicest way to put a realistic hard truth is like there's always been NPCs. There's always going to be NPCs. And if you want to be an NPC, do that. But if you're an NPC, you probably don't even know you're an NPC. So that's weird. But that means non-player character or whatever. It's kind of like I don't think it's derogatory, but I think it's just like a way to describe people that like they just want to do the bare minimum. And going back to the thing that I talked about in the main topic of this is like, I see a lot of that. It's like, I'm actually having to actively technically consult in that advisory engagement that I'm talking about, but also like from a psychological thing too. It's like, I think that was made by you, like completely created by you versus given to you for doing work from like an employer. Basically, I guess W-9 versus W-2, I guess is one way you could say it. That's not a great way to say that actually. W-2 versus self-employment income or whatever, right? Is one way you could say it. You don't need to tell me that answer. I'm just saying like that's the thing. And if you aspire to do more, that's great. But to the answer to the question is, do I think it's going to cause de-skilled people? I think yes, we could move towards like some sort of idiocracy. I don't know. I don't want to crazy predict this, but like I do think that at the same time, I don't think it's made me more de-skilled. I think it's made me more thoughtful in a lot of ways. And I've definitely built better and cooler shit than I did before. Also, I can barely talk anymore, so we're gonna have to wrap this very soon. It's a possibility. I don't know. Might have some problems, but time will tell. Kyle says, I think that is on the people using AI. I personally do projects without AI for things I want to learn. That's a good track. I normally use AI just to continue to learn because I feel like I learn every single time I talk to the thing. But that's a good way to do it too. Matt says, I think I hear a baby crying. You might have. Mom's still upstairs with him, so. Astro is great. Love it. Yep. Posting is good too. Or post hog is good too. Nice. I'm testing Plausible self-hosted and it runs perfect on a cheap Hetzner VPS. I didn't do it self-hosted, but I might have to try that some point. Stream died. Never mind. It was my cheap internet. It's funny. Attach 22 F5. Oh fuck no. It's back. We're back. Was this cheap internet? Are we good? I don't know. We got to go anyway. 90% of people are NPC. Here we go again. Someone vibe coded the net code. Is it actually dead? I don't know. It might have some problems. Don't be an NPC. My previous agency was an NPC. 20 people building 10K Elementor websites. No interest in AI. Yeah, I mean, God bless. We'll see what happens there. We good? Okay. Thank you. Cool. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I pretty much said all I can say. I feel like my voice is about to give up. And I appreciate all you guys, all your thoughts. Again, as you know, I don't really feel like I have all the answers, but I'm navigating it and just reporting back and trying to help you as much as I'm trying to help myself, really, with a lot of the different things I'm thinking about. Like I said, with this engagement, I think I'll probably be able to be less cryptic like later on, like once we have a success story and everything like that. But I do, it doesn't even matter. Like it doesn't matter. Like that concept is widespread, guaranteed. And everything that I said here today, I think that I'm going to do my best to continue to try to find opportunities where I can provide a little bit of value in those different ways, just to, make money, feed my family and shit like that, and help continue to learn and all that. And I think that is really going to be the next thing that's kind of happening here is we have to try to all figure out how to navigate this together. No matter if we're making multi-million dollars a year on websites and shit like that or whatever, or if we're just doing, maybe a couple 100,000 or whatever. I think that is really a thing that we're all going to have to navigate, because I don't know how much longer the market is going to, as it continues to move in that direction, is going to, I don't know, be willing to pay the same prices for the work that took longer, that may or may not be as good as the stuff that's quicker. So I'm not telling you what to do. As always, please do whatever you want. Okay. You can subscribe, unsubscribe, block me, whatever you need to do. If you don't agree with any of it, and please, again, always comment and chat if you don't, and I will, I'm happy to discuss, but, I enjoy doing this. So this is why I do these things. And I also want to continue to, like I said earlier, build the brand and all that sort of stuff. So any way that I can help, happy to do so. Always have to CTA in the description if you're a business owner looking for help, or if you're an agency now, anything like that. We can talk about advisory or work with me stuff. There's a link down there for calls, 1 hour advisory calls if you want to just grab an hour. Had a lot of good success stories there, a lot of stuff on the website. And then if you want to join Modern Builder Society and help and have help navigating this with a bunch of people that are in the same mindset, they're builders, their businesses are changing, evolving. Some of them are just starting. Some of them are completely refactoring. It's a good space that we have bi-weekly calls, like actual Zoom calls, Zoom style calls. It's in the circle community, but good resources, good chats, things like that. So just another space, get a little closer and have good talks. So if you're interested in any of that, awesome. If not, if you love YouTube, stay here. I'm going to try to do these live streams every week and continue to do them every week, every Thursday at 11. Thank you so much. I got to go help my wife tend to my new little son upstairs. So appreciate you guys. Thank you. And I will talk to you in the next one. See ya.